Live from the VVR studios in downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Howdy, hoes.
And
wow.
We're off to a running start. And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Selling my soul would be a lot easier if I could just find it. Nikki Six from the Heroin Diaries.
I love it. We're going to talk about Nikki Six today. His bass playing.
I am wearing my Mötley Crüe shirt, if you can see.
Oh, yes, very cool. No. I think we're going to have a surprise. I think, at least on my behalf, going to be a surprising discussion on the bass playing on this album. I was very surprised. As always, the mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, speaking of the show, where can they find this fine podcast?
We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen, like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend about us. If you are on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps out the show. You can find us on all our social medias. At Instagram, we are at VVR Podcast Insta. And on Facebook, we are at Violent Vinyl Podcast. Hey, Des, where can people get some merch for the show?
It's funny you should ask, Dave. If they want merch for this show, they can go over to our merch store at vvr.printify, printify.me, vvrprintify.me. Pick up your shirts, pick up your mugs. We got some great designs over there, and it helps us keep the lights on in this giant studio atop the Hancock building. So there you go.
Printify me, baby.
All right, let's head over to the mailbag. So I've been going back and forth with Kevin Kane a little bit. He's the one that requested either Asphalt Ballet or Operation Mindcrime. And he heard that that was not going to happen on this show, more than likely, unless I got 2 new co-hosts, which we're not going to do. So he retracted that one, and he had asked if maybe we could do Sabotage.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I love
of
Sabotage.
the Mountain King. So
Yeah.
I went over and I listened to Hall of the Mountain King, and woo, that is that's some metal there. It's some metal.
I love them.
That's a little too metal for me. I'm sorry.
It's perfect for me.
No, I could appreciate it, but it was a little too metal for me. So I told him that I would do the Pig album by Asphalt Ballet for my next pick, which will be, I believe, after our holiday break. So we are going to take a week off for Christmas. So there'll be I think a 3-week break there. But when we come back, I am going to pick Pig by Asphalt Ballet. I listened to both albums, the first one and the second one. First one, really cool. Musically kind of reminded me of Skid Row, but the singer was going a little too, he's really good, but it was a little too like that 80s metal thing where he was just it felt like he was just maybe trying a little too hard. So I listened to Pig, really great album. I mean, obviously these guys were listening to a lot of Alice in Chains at the time before they wrote this album and went to the studio. But I love Alice in Chains, and I really like this Asphalt Ballet Pig album. So I'll be picking that.
You foofed my choice because I was actually going to pick the first album in that. But if you're going to pick the second, then I'm switching it up.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like I said, I don't know. I liked the way the singer sounded better on the second album, and I wanted to give this a good review. So I just felt
I think they have I think both albums are actually really good by them.
No, the first one was really good, but I just felt like the singer really came. Was it the same singer on both albums?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, it looks a lot different. The first album, he's like floofy with like kind of blonde curly hair. And the second album, he's like all fucking doped out, like with no shirt and long black hair. And
I'm not totally positive about that, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I'm feeling like it's a different guy. But well, you know what? Tune in to the episode, and I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Lisa, you got any mail?
So I didn't get an email specifically about the episode, but I did get some mail that said the episode was too short. And it was pretty long, wasn't it?
It was an hour shorter than usual.
Well, yeah. I think people like to listen to it over the week and have some left to listen to. So.
Well, we did. We executed the Violent Vinyl After Dark. So we took that out.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was working, guys. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys like it? I mean, I like doing it, but I just wasn't sure if we had it like kind of dialed in enough to go forward with it. So I kind of like, we discussed it and we took it off the shelf for now. If you guys want us to bring it back, just, let us know. Lisa, Dave, what do you think? You better with it, without it?
I like it.
I love doing it. I absolutely do. But if people are just skipping over it, then there's no point. So let's hear from what people think.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll bring it back. I don't know. Let's see what you guys think. Dave, did Hennessy write you this week?
I did not get any mail as far as I know. I checked and didn't see anything. But apparently on Facebook, we have earned a top fan badge for both Kiss and Ace Frehley.
Oh, awesome.
So we are top fans.
Yeah, we got that. And then we also, from Spotify, were awarded a Marathon Podcast Award. And that puts us in the top 10 percentile of podcasts for the most content listened to on each episode, which is not easy to do. It's a hard award to get. So I was very proud of that. Guys, what did you think?
Hey, Parker, what is that? Don't bother me now, sweet. Can't see I'm busy. Yeah, but what is that? It's a major award. A major award?
Shucks, I wouldn't have known, Dad. It looks like a lamp.
Well, it is a lamp, you nincompoop, but it's a major award. I won it. Damn, hell, you say you won it? Yeah. Mind power, sweet, mind power.
Super proud.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah.
And especially doing a 2+ hour podcast, almost a 3-hour podcast, to get that accolade, very difficult. I mean, it's not like we're doing a 45-minute show here and people are listening to 35 minutes of it. No, we're doing a 3-hour show and people are like listening to almost all of it. It's amazing.
We had quite a few people send us their Spotify wrap-ups where Violent Vinyl was their top podcast, and they had listened to almost 4,000 minutes of it over the year. I think Sean Martello sent us one. I got 2 others myself. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And also
Hi, Sean.
What's up, Sean? I know you're listening. And also, we are the top podcast for a lot of our listeners, which is also difficult to do, especially when we're still kind of small fish. So yeah, a lot of movement for us in 2025. We had a really good year. I was talking to the guys about this earlier in the week about how, we used to be breaking vinyl and it was a good idea, but, it never really evolved and it started to just sort of run its course. And, we brought Lisa on and we started, this show, which is, it's an offspring of breaking vinyl, but it's become its own thing in my mind. I want to start, maybe doing some rewinds on some of the albums we did on the old show. And yeah, I mean, it's just evolved into something that I never thought it could be. And I'm really proud of what we've done here. And thanks, Lisa, and thanks, Dave. And thanks to the listeners for, making this thing happen.
And thank you.
And thanks, Des.
For all your hard work.
All right.
And Jane's addiction might get its validation.
It's going to get its validation. Let's head over to the VVR melting pot. And yeah, we've got some stuff lined up on this, but keep sending them in and we will put you in the pot as we can. So, as you know, we are trying to share music from independent bands and songwriters. So, Today we got a submission from Dan Kincaid. So Dan is originally from the Boston area, and we became friends through the Boston club scene in the late 80s, early 90s. He moved out to Hollywood, and we kept in touch throughout the years. Dan is an unbelievably talented musician, songwriter, and producer. So I was stoked to feature one of the songs off of his new album. Dan writes in, "Hey guys, thanks for throwing my track in the melting pot. Without You was written by me, produced by Christian Agner of Depeche Mode, along with Nico Stossel. I am so proud of this album. So if you like what you hear, the album is called Persona Non Grata, and it is available on every streaming service out there. So go check it out, pick it up, and stream it." So, with no further ado, coming to you hot from the VVR melting pot, I present Without You.
Driving faster in the dark, putting some space behind me, thinking of every word you said. Did you want to destroy me? Look into my eyes, do you see what I see? I wish that I could stop, but I'm too high, can't sleep. If I could find the words, maybe you'd be here. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you. I'm reaching out to you as you turn around and start to leave. You drop a photograph, that's all that's left of you and me. Look into my eyes, do you see what I see? I wish that I could stop, but I'm too high, can't sleep. If I could find the words, maybe you'd be here. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you, I feel so out of place. My past has been erased. When I turn around, there's nothing there. Without you.
Nice job, Dan. That is a fucking killer tune.
Okay, well, for me, holy moly, it sounds great. I like the combination of electronics with traditional instrument sounds, big clear vocals, and the video has a cool neon look to it. The song is catchy. Great job, Dan. I like it.
Nice. Lisa, what'd you think?
I'm so excited. So first of all, Depeche Mode is one of my top 5 bands of all time. I can't believe you're letting me listen to this type of music again here.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. This is fantastic. Depeche Mode is a band that I paid more for a single ticket to than any other band I've ever seen. I'll just say that.
Oh,
And she's seen a lot of
And
bands.
I've seen a lot of bands.
Oh, my.
Yep. So immediately when this song opens, I hear the beautiful synth layer laid underneath and I get so excited. And it's a super catchy hook and fantastic dark vocals. It's kind of like dark synth post-punk, but it's modernized. It's better than what you would have heard in the 80s. I would definitely go see this act live. So would my gothy friends. The video is super cool. It has like that early 80s pop punk animation in neon, kind of like a modernized Aha video, which is pretty cool. I literally love everything about it. There's a line in there, you drop the photograph, that's all that's left of you and me. Frickin' love it. I'd say for my taste in music, this is way better than Mötley Crüe's Without You. Just to set up this episode. There's a lot of live footage on YouTube of Dan playing with his band. I went through, I would say 6 or 7 songs on the album. Every single one is amazing. This is exactly what I love. This guy is ultra cool.
Yeah, so. No, this I'm telling you, Persona non grata is a fucking amazing album. He should have made $1 million off this thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I think that Christian also played drums on it. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he can write in and let us know, but I'm like 80% sure that the drums were done by the drummer of Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
They did do a showcase for it in Hollywood where they played live, and the band that he used was really great. It was Eric Griffin from the Murder Dolls. He played the lead guitar on stage there. They just really great bass player and this really great drummer. It was an excellent show. I did a video for one of the songs off the album called Rise Above. That's pretty neat. You can find that on YouTube as well. So Dan, nice job. I hope this gives the album a little pump. It deserves it. It's just an unbelievably underappreciated album, in my opinion. This should be in everybody's collection, especially if you like this style of music, Depeche Mode, etc. So, nice job.
Everybody go buy Dan's album on iTunes.
Yeah. So, I have to, a little self-promotion there. So a few years back, I actually reached out to Dan and I asked him if he'd help me out with one of my songs that I was struggling to dial in, as this song was just outside of my usual writing style. It wasn't in my genre. I was experimenting, but I knew it was a really good song. I just couldn't get it. Right. And he went out of his way to do me a solid, because that's the kind of guy that Dan is. He's a really busy dude, but he said, send me the tracks and I'll do what I can. So I sent him over all my original tracks and he produced the fuck out of these things. He did some amazing backing vocals. He wrote some lyrics for a small section in the middle that I was struggling with, and sang the part. And he added this killer guitar track, lead guitar, and then a guitar track through it. And it transformed this track into something really, really cool that I'm pretty proud of. I also put together a little video for it. So if you guys are interested in hearing that and watching that video, head over to YouTube and punch in The Dark Side of the Beat video by Dez. So you type that in, it'll come up. You can check that song out along with all of my other music, my other original videos, my other original songs. And I also just uploaded a new 80s style pop song that I finished recently. And there you go. So that is the end of my shameless promotion.
I'm pretty sure the name of that song, though, is about me, right?
It is. Actually, it's funny. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well,
Exactly.
Unfortunately, this time the egg came before Lisa. But yes, she got her podcast handle from the title of that song. So there you go.
Now it's her new theme song.
Yes, new theme song. Okay, tonight we will be discussing Too Fast for Love, the debut album from Mötley Crüe, produced by Mötley Crüe, released on November 10th, 1981 on Leather Records. The album peaked at the number 77 spot on the U.S. Billboard 200. The band's lineup was as follows. Vince Neil, lead vocals. Mick Mars, guitars, backing vocals. Nikki Sixx, bass. And Tommy Lee on drums and backing vocals. Dave, you got any facts on Mötley Crüe?
I do.
Right.
This album started out as an indie release on the band's own label, Leather Records, Leathur, with umlauts over the U. Leather Records was founded by Mötley Crüe and their manager at the time, Alan Kaufman. The album was recorded at Hit City West, a small studio in Hollywood. Artists who'd previously worked there included R&B star Bobby Womack and Beach Boys singer Mike Love. The album reportedly cost only $3,000 to make. The band was then signed to Elektra Records, and the album was reworked with some re-recording and remixed under the supervision of Roy Thomas Baker, producer of many classic Queen albums. The Elektra version, which is the one we'll be discussing today since it's the most widely available version, has a different song order and does not include the song Stick to Your Guns, which appeared on the original. Stick to Your Guns was not commonly available until the Mötley Records reissue years later. The album re-release came out on August 20th, 1982, less than a year and a half after the band's formation.
And Stick to Your Guns was intended to be the single, I believe, off the original version.
It was released as a single while they were still being independent.
Yeah.
The other side of that was Toast of the Town. Both of those songs did not make the major label version, but
thank God.
were on the re-release.
It's strange that they picked those two songs to kind of feature at first, and then both were dropped, and everything else basically was kept.
Right.
They're decent songs, but they would have hurt this album. They were not in the same ballpark as the songs that made this final album, in my opinion.
And if you're paying attention, Toast of the Town was covered by Pretty Boy Floyd later on on their Leather Boys with Electric Toys record. I actually like Pretty Boy Floyd's version a little better. It's got a little more energy to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that was on their indie album. Mötley Crüe started out as a mess of local LA musicians. All four members of the classic lineup were in other bands and drifted together, while other singers and guitarists involved backed away, such as singer-guitarist named Greg Leon, who was working on a band with Tommy Lee. Tommy liked Nikki Sixx's image and invited him to join them, and Greg immediately quit in protest because he didn't like Nikki and thought he was a lousy bassist. Eventually, he was right. Eventually, in April of 1981, the lineup was completed and they played their first show at the famous Starwood Club later that month.
I think Tommy was right, though, about Nikki. He just was so ultra cool.
Well,
looked so good. People are going to come to that show.
Yeah, I mean, he looked cool and wrote cool songs.
But Dave, I think sometimes Nikki Sixx gets this bad rap, and I know I've given it to him over and over on this show, but the more I listen to these albums, especially this one, dude, my mind was blown. This is a demo. There is no fucking way they had a studio musician come in and play these bass lines, and they're not bad.
Yeah, somebody was not overlaying the bass tracks on it.
No, these are good bass lines, though. Him and Tommy Lee are fucking locked in on this album. They're playing great together, I thought.
I think we heard from one of the previous podcasts that the producers insisted that Nikki actually did play this and that was a rumor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think over the years he's just gotten lazy with his bass lines. So let's just say that. Next up, Mick Mars reportedly came up with the band name. The other guys wanted to call the band Christmas,
I don't like
the
that.
holiday.
I don't like it.
Mick had the name Mötley Crüe in his back pocket, and they wisely went with that instead. The dots over the O and the U are called umlauts, supposedly inspired by the German beer Lowenbrau. Many other bands have since added umlauts to their name. Green Jello, Husker Du, Spinal Tap, and of course the Toilet Boys. What's up? And even before Motley, though, Blue Oyster Cult is considered as being the first rock band to do so.
One of my favorite scenes in one of their video commentaries is Vince, I think, sitting in a limo and discussing with these beautiful girls that are sitting around him. We were going to originally call the band Christmas, and he had it like written on a piece of paper, and he's like, Christmas, and he's just dying laughing.
Weren't they in a hot tub?
Yeah, they were in a hot tub. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In a fullinbloom.com interview with early Mötley Crüe photographer Don Adkins, Don asserts that Mick Mars was over 40 years old when Mötley Crüe started their career.
Oh, man.
What? No.
That's what he says.
Can't
If
be right.
that's true, that would make Mick Mars at least 84 years
100.
old today.
It's 100.
Wikipedia lists Mick's birth date as May 4th, 1951, which makes him, according to that, age 74. So it's a mystery.
Still older than the other guys in the band by quite a bit, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sources indicate that famous hair metal producer / engineer Michael Wagner, known for albums by Extreme, White Lion, and Skid Row, worked on this album. Mr. Wagner was also the original guitarist for the German band Accept. Tommy Lee was a big fan of Accept's recorded drum sounds and wanted his recorded drums to sound similar. According to a post by Michael regarding this album, he did not participate in the tracking except for a cowbell overdub, but he did create the original mixdown over 4 days with no automation. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I played guitar in a Mötley Crüe tribute band.
Yes, you did.
We were called Red Hot, and we played clubs from Maine to Worcester, Mass., all the way down to Maryland and North Carolina. For a while, our drummer was Ben Graves, I believe, who was in the Boston Brats.
Yes, he was.
With Dez, yeah.
Yep.
And would go on to bigger things with the Murder Dolls and Pretty Boy Floyd. I've probably played half this album as well as most of the other Crüe hits on guitar many, many times. But it was fun. Finally, we covered Shout at the Devil in episode 2 and Theater of Pain in episode 48 of the old Breaking Vinyl show. Please check those out to get even more Motley facts. So everybody listening probably knows many of the ups and downs in Mötley Crüe's career. So get ready. We're going to give you the short version here in Micro Machine style. In 1984, Vince killed Razzle from Hanoi Rocks in a drunk driving car accident. Fuck you, Vince.
Fuck you, Vince.
Addiction feuds with Guns N' Roses, the Moscow Music Peace Festival, breaking up for that one album where John Corabi took over as the singer. Great album, by the way. And the band reforming for the awful Generation Swine record.
Oh.
Tommy Lee quitting in 1999 for a few years to go solo until 2004 when he returned. In 2001, the band released an autobiography. Sorry, I can't keep
All
it
I'm
up.
thinking about is I'm going to speed this up just a hint in fucking post-op credits, so it sounds like you're fucking going crazy.
Okay.
You're killing
back
it.
to
Keep going.
In 2001, the band released an autobiography titled The Dirt, and a movie based on the book was released on Netflix in 2019. December 31st, 2015 was supposed to be their last show ever before retirement. They lied. In 2022, Mick Mars retired due to his age and health concerns. The band replaced him with the excellent, but not as cool as Mick Mars, John 5. Mötley Crüe is still working and somehow is on tour this summer. When will the madness end?
Oh, soon I hope, because I can't stand it anymore.
Ah!
Fuck them.
I have to go refill my coffee.
You know, that was it. He was like, I could see the level going down. As he was going. So this is our second Mötley Crüe album, Lisa. So what do you got for facts that they did not get on the Theater of Pain episode?
So I'm not doing any band facts at all because everybody already knows about them. But I'm going to go through the guys a little bit so we can talk about the individual guys.
I just gave you all the highlights.
Yeah, we don't
pretty
need
much
to
it.
do any more. Yeah,
We just
but-
saw the dirt out of Dave's mouth.
Just pointing out that in 1981, most people wouldn't have heard this album, right? We wouldn't have heard it till, I think, probably 83 is when most people got their hands on it. And a lot of people, I believe, found this album after they found Shout at the Devil.
Definitely. That's how I
the
found
timeline.
it.
Yeah. So on the charts at that time, we had John Lennon, Yoko Ono, REO Speedwagon, Rolling Stones, Pat Benatar and Styx. On the singles chart, we had Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. Ugh.
Good song.
No.
No,
Diana-
great song.
Great fucking song.
Ugh.
Great 100 watts.
Nope. Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. So there's a lot of duets in here. So like,
Sure.
Dolly Parton, Blondie, Pat Benatar.
Nice.
We were beginning a shift. Remember, we're coming into a new decade, right? So we're leaving disco behind. We're leaving that old classic rock style behind. We're coming into post-punk, heavier rock, and glam in the 80s form of glam, not the 70s form of glam. Billboard wouldn't have an official metal chart until 1989, but notable metal albums of the time were Diary of a Madman, obviously from Ozzy, Judas Priest with Point of Entry. Iron Maiden had 2 albums that year. They had this weird cadence where they were doing almost 2 albums every year, which is bizarre to me.
Cranking them out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Still getting play that year was Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath, which was actually released almost a year before, but was still like topping the sound. Interesting note about the band, they did fall apart in 1992. Weird year, 1992. Every band fell apart in 1992.
Kind of, yeah.
Even though they had a longer run. So they started earlier, 81, and had a much longer arc, but they collapsed when all the other bands did. Another interesting thing about them is this is probably one of the only bands of the era where I think people can name every member of the band. So like everybody knew who Tommy was.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of all like their own. It's almost like Kiss, except without the the kabuki makeup. Each one of them is their own character, and they're all larger than life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and they even highlighted that in like I think it was the Home Sweet Home video before the song kicks in. Each one of them has their little scene where Vince is at the beach and like, oh, hey, I'm on my way. And, Nikki's at the bar at a party and Tommy's, wherever. And
Mickey's in his medieval castle. So
yeah. Mick Mars wakes up out of his coffin and I'm on my way.
Yeah. But it was pretty rare for a regular person who was just a radio listener to really know all the names of someone in a band.
Yeah,
but
you don't know all the guys in Foreigner
right.
or some shit like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So let's stick our toe into the water with Vince Neil just really quick. Producer Tom Werman, who produced much of Mötley Crüe's material in the 80s, said that Neil is the least artistic and least involved in the creative process of all the band members.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it kind of fits how he was characterized in Nikki's autobiography and in the movie. More interested in the girls, not really interested in the band or the creative process. Just kind of showed up, was handed his lines, performed, and out the door he went. So he was fired in 1992 after his drinking affected the band. This was after the band actually had collapsed once before and they had cleaned up. He was replaced by John Corabi, which you just mentioned. You liked the John Corabi album?
I hated that album.
I hated it too.
It's a good album, but it's just not, not Mötley Crüe.
Mötley Crüe.
Yeah. And let me say, I've seen John Corabi live.
He's
his
a great
solo,
singer.
his acoustic act is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It's maybe not the right fit for them.
Yeah, maybe not. So Vince had a very short solo career, most notably with the song "You're Invited, But Your Friend Can't Come." Spoiler alert! I love that song.
No, the one with Steve Stevens, the
Steve
video,
Stevens,
that like futuristic video they did.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, Sister of Pain.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, he had a couple of good solo songs. Steve Stevens was in his solo band, and isn't You're Invited, But Your Friend Can't Come? It was from a Pauly Shore movie. It was like from
Encino Man.
Encino Man. I was going to say Son-in-Law, but
yeah,
one of those.
Yeah, and his solo band actually went on tour with Van Halen during this.
Nice.
He had an industrial album called Carved in Stone in 1995 that did very poorly, but actually was pretty good in my thoughts. When he came back to Mötley Crüe, he came back because he wasn't doing well on his own, and they weren't doing well without him. They were still infighting, but money, whatever. He had a few businesses, Vince Neil Inc. in Las Vegas, which is actually still open. He had a poker tournament, a bar and grill, his own tequila, a strip club called Deja Vu Presents Vince Neil's Girls, Girls, Girls in Las Vegas. Yep, he's done tons of appearances. My favorite was, of course, in Ford Fairlane, where he basically plays himself, a rock star, and ends up dead in a glass coffin, which is super cool. He was on The Surreal Life. He had his own reality show called Remaking Vince Neil, where he went through a major transformation and a ton of plastic surgery. He has said he had so much plastic surgery, he does not recognize himself in the mirror anymore. I actually think he does look recognizable. I don't think they did a very bad job on him.
No, they did a great job on his surgery because he still looks like himself. He doesn't have that weird plasticky appearance that a lot of other celebrities do.
Right. He's been married 4 times and has 4 children, one of whom, named Skylar Neal, passed away after a battle with congenital kidney cancer. She had a Wilms tumor, which was kind of encased in her abdomen. Now, that's usually a cancer that people survive, which makes this very, very sad. But hers was particularly bad, affected both kidneys, spread to her liver and intestines, and they were just unable to stop it.
That was back in the 90s, too, wasn't it? Where the technology probably wasn't.
And she was very young too.
Yeah, you know? 5 years old, I think it was. Baby. Yeah. No one should ever have to go through that. By the way, just terrible, horrifying. Skylar's mom was Charisse Neal, a mud wrestler made famous basically after marrying Neal, and kind of became the goal in terms of like groupie fashion and looks and how to get a rock star. She had a relationship with Kelly Nichols about a month after she married Vince. This, of course, appeared in, and she, of course, appeared in Mötley Crüe's Girls, Girls, Girls video. She was also involved in an incident where she was kicked by Izzy Stradlin when she refused his advances. This sparked a rivalry between Axel and Vince. They threatened to fight each other, but never actually did. I think they should do a pay-per-view now.
So Vince Neil. So Axel was just talking shit because he's a wuss. And Vince is a really tough dude, especially back in the day. Vince Neil would literally fucking kick your ass.
But imagine them today fighting.
Well, I mean, I still give the nod to fucking Vince Neil.
They'd last half a round and be out of breath in their separate corners.
But if you'll remember back in the day, Vince Neil went on MTV. He took out a little spot and he said, "This is to you, Axel." He goes, "Let's do it. Let's fight."
Yeah, he did.
He goes, "I want to fight you. Let's do it." And Axel was like, I never saw that. It's like, no, you did. You saw it. You pussied out.
Yep. So we've given enough time to Vince. So we're actually going to take Vince's time and we're going to talk about something a little more important. And that is the murder of Nicholas Charles Dingley, also known as Razzle from Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah. Fuck you, Vince.
Yeah. 5 days ago would have been Razzle's 65th birthday. He was the drummer of Hanoi Rocks, a glam band from Finland. He himself was from England and was actually the only English member in the band. He appears on the cover of their 3rd album, Self-Destruction Blues, which wasn't a real studio album. It was instead a compilation of recordings done during the first 2 albums. He didn't actually play on this album. He did play on the first 2 studio albums, Back to Mystery City in 83 and 2 Steps from the Move in 84,
great album.
as well as a live album. Yeah, great albums. In 1984, along with other members of Hanoi Rocks, he appeared on the Hanoi Rocks side project, The Fallen Angels. Thank you very much.
I have it.
Yeah.
No shit.
During their American tour, they had to take some time off when the singer and glam god, Michael Monroe, broke his ankle. Razzle ended up hanging out with Vince, who took Razzle on a beer run, drunk, in his De Tomaso Pantera, where he hit another car. Razzle was murdered. 2 people in the other vehicles were seriously injured, sustaining brain damage. Andy McCoy of Hanoi Rocks and Tommy went out looking for them when they didn't come back from the beer run and actually drove past the accident scene, seeing Neil handcuffed in the police car. They didn't realize Razzle had already died. He died instantly in the crash, although they did rush him to the hospital and tried to save him, but he was already gone. Vince got 30 days in jail, of which he served 19. He paid a fine to the state.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. Many fans will have seen the Dirt movie and the book's account of the accident. This contradicts what witnesses say actually happened. The loss of Razzle basically caused the collapse of Hanoi Rocks, which would break up less than a year later. Many fans, including myself, think that Hanaway was cheated out of a mega career by this murder.
Mega.
They really should have had the fame that Crüe eventually did get, and probably would have been in that slot between Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, and the Crüe. If you haven't heard them, I highly urge you to get every single one of their albums and give them a listen.
Yep.
I also highly recommend the Fallen Angels 3 albums, the self-titled one, and especially the In Loving Memory one, which features Nasty Suicide. So,
Nice.
yeah. Michael Monroe is still touring. We were supposed to see him recently, but the show, our date, was canceled.
Yeah, he had some kind of problem with his knee or something like that, and he had to pull out of the tour.
We were heartbroken because we were like front row or second row or something like that. Oh, that was sad.
We need to do another Hanoi album. Lisa, what are you picking next? Fuck that cherry pie album. Let's do a fucking Hanoi album.
Vince Neil's recent performances have been widely panned. Some have been due to his drinking, his weight gain, and his inability to enunciate his words, leading to some crazy video shorts online trying to figure out what he's actually saying. Due to a recent stroke, he seems to be have no energy left. You can find Michael Monroe merch at visinmerch.com/Michael-Monroe and on most social media platforms like TikTok, Bandcamp, YouTube, etc. And he is still touring. Hanoi Rocks has no official presence, but you can find their music and albums everywhere. I caution you, though, if you find merch, it's likely not licensed, so please just go buy the band's music. Off to Mick Mars, the oldest member of the Crüe.
178 years old.
Yeah.
116.
He's a vampire.
Oldest man alive, actually, on the earth. That's a fact.
Yeah. He wanted to be a musician at only 3 years of age when his parents took him to see country singer Skeeter Bond at the local 4-H fair.
4-H?
Yeah. He started heavily practicing guitar at 12, but at 14 in his first band, he actually played bass, which I'm going to turn to Dave. Dave goes back and forth between bass and guitar also, just like Mick. Yep.
It's much easier to get gigs playing bass.
Yeah.
Mick Mars actually played at the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. He suffered an almost career-ending hand injury in the early 70s while operating heavy machinery at a laundromat. And then he decided to only do music from that point forward so that he wouldn't be injured. That injury actually ended his first marriage because he wasn't able to play music and make money for his wife.
She sounds like a keeper.
Yeah, her name was Sharon. He had 2 kids with her, Les Paul and Stormy.
A nice name.
He avoided paying child support to Sharon and was frequently jailed. He eventually had another son named Eric, still all before Crüe, and had a lot of financial difficulties. He would later complain that his first 2 marriages ended him financially destitute, losing everything, including his guitars, which is horrible. Yeah, at the end of the 70s, he decided to change his whole persona, dyeing his hair black, changing his name, switching music genres, which was when he found an ad by Tom. He was found through an ad by Tommy and Nikki. While he never got into drugs, back in the day, he actually warned his bandmates to avoid heroin because it would affect their playing. He did develop a pretty serious drinking problem back at that time.
Mick Mars?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he also developed a bad opiate addiction at some point.
That would be later.
Back.
Yeah. During the recording of Dr. Feelgood, Mars reported to be using so many amplifiers on his guitar that the sounds of his guitar could be heard on the recordings of Aerosmith's album Pump, which was being recorded in the same studio.
That is fucking awesome. That is fucking awesome. Best fact ever.
John Corabi would say that when he was hired, Mick was not really involved. The other 2 guys did not have respect for him, and he was considered a grumpy old man. When it came to Generation Swine, the band erased most of the work he did and hired session players. He claims no involvement on New Tattoo, where Nikki counters that Mick descended into opiate addiction during this time. So he retired from touring in 2022, but not from recording, yet seems to have been basically dismissed from the band and announced his complete retirement just a week after announcing his touring retirement. He would sue the band for what amounts to be an unfair dismissal, and he does retain some shares of the tours despite not going on them. In 2023, his first solo single was released, and in 2024, his first solo album containing that single was released, called The Other Side of Mars.
What was the video we did? The Lie. What was it? Live the Lie, Believe the Lie. I can't remember the name of the song.
Loyal to the Lie.
Loyal to the Lie. That was
Yes.
fucking kick ass.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. He's now married to Serena Schonenberger. I'm sorry if I just butchered your name, Serena. Also known as Faye McNasty. They've been together a long time, I think 18 years total now. She's a photographer, designs his stage clothes, and they generally seem like they're very much in love. He's been connected to various other women over the years, including marrying Mötley Crüe's backup singer, Emmy Canyon, in 1990.
One of the nasty habits.
Yes, she was. She was also the singer of She-Rock and Cannon, and was also in the band Alice in Thunderland. They were together until 94 when they divorced, among rumors that she was cheating with another member of Alice in Thunderland. She unfortunately passed at the age of 62 in 2017.
Yeah, I heard that was a messy breakup.
Yes, very much.
His wife Sharon sounds like she was a real handful, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe the most interesting fact about Mick, I think, is how much he was suffering physically throughout basically in the entire history of Mötley Crüe. Starting at the age of 14, he started having symptoms of this very, very rare disease called, I'm gonna butcher this also, ankylosing spondylitis, which is
nailed it.
Yeah, it's a form of arthritis, like an autoimmune disease that causes the spine to curve and basically turn into stone intestine. And it also gives you gastrointestinal distress. It can be caused by genetics. It's unknown origin in most cases, but it's basically managed through painkillers, and it explains his opiate addiction to OxyContin, Vicodin, and Lortab. He was also drinking heavily during his addiction to opiates. And
Dangerous.
and taking as many as 45 Advil every day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Burn a hole in the lower GI.
Yeah. It's basically caused his back and neck to fuse and made him immobile. It didn't, however, affect his hands, which he was always very thankful for. So he's been able to continue playing his guitar. Despite retiring, he still has a website, mick-mars.com, where he sells merch and has some great photos and bio information, and he's also active on social media. Okay, Nikki 6, Frankie Carlton Serafino Ferrana Jr. That's a long name.
That is a long name. I go with Nikki 6.
Yeah. I think his history has been pretty well documented in his autobiographies and his Dirt, obviously, book as well, and the movie. He was raised by his grandmother. After being with his abusive mother, she abandoned him. Of course, she came back trying to make it right when he found fame, but he was not having any of that. He had a sister, Lisa, who had Down syndrome. She passed in the year 2000, as well as two half-siblings, Rodney and Ceci. He bought his first bass with money he got from selling a guitar he stole. He joined the band Sister at 17. That was Blackie Lawless's band when he was coming out of playing guitar in the New York Dolls. Nikki Sixx and guitarist Lizzie Gray, who was also in Sister, formed the band London. It should be noted that Lizzie Gray co-wrote Public Enemy No. 1, which is on this album. Gray would be with Spiders and Snakes, another LA glam band from 1990 until his death in 2019. Spiders and Snakes has a ton of music out there, by the way. And while Sister never officially released anything, London would eventually feature Blackie Lawless as well. And I think some of the songs kind of crossed over. London would also feature eventually Izzy Stradlin and Fred Coury. According to Dirt, Tommy Lee first saw Nicky in London and loved his look and style, but thought he couldn't play. Yep. Tommy and Nicky founded Mötley Crüe shortly after adding Mick. Nicky is the only member who technically never left the band during its history. It was during this time that Nicky became addicted to heroin, calling it his one true love. Overdosing 6 or so times, one nearly fatal. He was saved by a paramedic in the ambulance who recognized him as the Mötley Crüe member, and he was a fan. So he gave him an extra dose of adrenaline and worked to get his heart started again. What if he wasn't a fan?
I would hope he would still have.
I would hope so, too.
They would have just carted him off and put him in a drawer somewhere.
Like if it was Mike Tramp, he would have been like, fuck it, let him die.
Gosh. Nicky also appears to have been kind of the business leader of the band.
writing his own autobiography and co-writing one for the band Dirt, which made him into a very successful dramatized version of the band's history. He's also been very protective of their music, not wanting to be pigeonholed into the 80s. He refused to let it be used in the Rock of Ages movie, for example, which instead featured Def Leppard, Journey, Poison, Twisted Sister, Foreigner, Bon Jovi, Joan Jett, and more. He has demanded very high rates for their shows, despite their use of tracks. He had a short-lived band called 58, but then joined the Brides of Destruction with Tracy Guns. And one time or another, member of Mötley Crüe, John Corabi. Also with London LeGrand, who played with George Lynch and a few others. He then formed what would become his signature project, 6 a.m., which was originally intended to give his book Heroin Diaries a soundtrack. He worked with DJ Ashba, James Michael, who was the singer, and a changing lineup of drummers. They would have 4 studio albums, a couple of EPs and singles that charted actually really well, including, here we go, Life is Beautiful, which hit number 4 on the US charts and went gold. They would take many hiatuses, though, as Six was still playing with Crüe. DJ Ashba had many gigs, including Guns N' Roses and his solo work, so they would come together when they could. For like a minute, he had a supergroup called LA Rats that basically started and ended in 2021.
I never heard of that one.
Too many bands.
This band included Rob Zombie, John Five, Tommy Clufidos from Sabbath and Ted Nugent.
He played in White Zombie, I think, or Rob Zombie solo band, or both.
Yeah. They released one single on a soundtrack for the movie Ice Road, which charted at number 11 in the US. That's pretty good for a band that didn't last a year. He's worked with a lot of other musicians, including Lita Ford, Drowning Pool, Meatloaf, Saliva, Alice Cooper, Dolly Parton. Dolly, of course, also singing Home Sweet Home in the 2025 anniversary of this song. I don't know if you've heard that, but it is lovely. You didn't like it, did you?
It didn't work for me. Just take Vince out. Better song.
In recent times, to be fair, even in the beginning, Six has been panned for being a bad player. But worse, recently he's been seen playing to tracks where his bass is playing and his hands aren't even on the instrument. The band overall has had a lot of controversy with using tracks, and I'll be honest, I really thought when they talk about Mötley Crüe using tracks that it was focused on Vince and the vocals, but over the videos I've seen over the past year or so, it's 100% Nikki.
That's the one place they need tracks.
Yeah.
Is on the lead vocal.
You listen to these live shows, it doesn't sound like they're pumping in vocals.
Yeah. Gosh. Nikki would share in his memoir that his one-time fiance, Denise Vanity Matthews, that their relationship was based only on shared drug use, and that ended before they ever even made it to the altar. I don't know if you know who Vanity is. Do you know Vanity?
Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
Vanity Six.
Yeah, Vanity Six was her band. Her band created by Prince. She was one of Prince's proteges.
That's right.
She's even on a 1983 Rolling Stones cover with Prince. She had a pretty big solo career, starred in several movies, appeared in Playboy's April 1998 magazine. Her drug use would cause her to have kidney issues, which in 1992 partially led to her becoming an evangelical Christian. She had a kidney transplant in 1997. Unfortunately, she would be diagnosed with encapsulating peritoneal sclerosis in 2015, and she passed in 2016 from kidney failure. Yeah. He then went on to his most infamous relationship, my favorite relationship, I think, his marriage to Playboy playmate Brandy Brandt, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. They would have 3 children together, and among her many Playboy appearances includes the 1990 March cover where she appeared with Donald Trump. I loved her in Married with Children. She was also in Aerosmith's video Love in an Elevator. She's the elevator valet, I guess you would call her.
Operator.
Yeah. Sure. They did have kind of a tumultuous relationship and ended up divorcing. And 1 month after their divorce, he married Donna D'Errico. Playmate of the Month for September 95, and another beauty. They have one child together. She was in Baywatch as well as some movie appearances. After 11 years together, they had a separation due to his drug issues. They reconciled for a short time when he went to rehab, but ultimately divorced a year later. They had a clothing line together called Outlaw. Fun fact about Donna, in 2011, she was in training to fulfill a long-held dream of climbing Mount Ararat in Turkey.
Ararat? I thought you were going to say Everest.
No, Ararat, because she wanted to search for frozen remains of the biblical Noah's Ark. Also evangelical.
Yeah, sounds a little nutty.
Yeah. After climbing the mountain in 2012, she returned to the U.S. in August after suffering injuries from a fall near the end of the climb.
Did she get her piece of the ark?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Nor has anyone else, just making that statement.
Okay, sure.
He dated Kat Von D for a couple of years on and off. She flitted back and forth to her previous guy, Jesse James from West Coast Choppers. She is now married to Lifar Sayer, one of my favorites from the Cholo Goth band Prayers, a band that I absolutely love, just saying that.
Okay.
Nikki is now married to Courtney Bingham, a former model and current quote-unquote influencer. Fans really panned this match. She seemed on her social media that first of all, she's really addicted to social media. She literally posts every detail of her life on there. And when she's in the tabloids, it's said that she actually pays the tabloids to come and take quote unquote candid photos of her as she's, living her life out in public. She's quite young, 23 years his junior. She was disliked greatly by the other members' girlfriends. She has been accused of lots of really strange things, including those staged photos. And she also seems quite jealous of Brittany Furlan, who is Tommy's wife, because of her success at being an influencer and a comedian. However, the two claim to be friends and do appear in videos together pretty often. She's also destroyed friendships with other rock wives like Susan McKagan, who is Duff's wife. She and Nikki have one child together, conceived with IVF, which she has been very open about. Nikki is connected to the Covenant House charity that helps teens and survivors of human trafficking and has raised over $100,000 for that charity. It is rumored it was he who demanded a lot of money for Ozzy's final show and was roundly turned down by Sharon Osbourne and panned by those saying they would have been using tracks anyway, not even playing live. Nikki is all over social media, and his website, nikki6official.com, has some really cool merch. It actually has some merch where like t-shirts and stuff of photos that appear to be from 82, 83, 84 of him, which are like super cool, but whatever. Okay, Tommy Lee. Tommy's my favorite.
The great Tommy Lee.
Spoiler alert. Founding member and also the youngest member, but he wasn't green in the beginning, even though he was so young. He was born in Athens, Greece, while his younger sister was born in Los Angeles. He dropped out of high school to join the band Sweet 19, which became a regular Sunset Strip band. He was on the circuit when he met Nikki. So the whole story in Dirt, where he was a fan of London and he saw them in the diner and was like, "Oh, I'm your fan and I have your pictures on my." None of that happened. They were both playing in bands on the Strip and knew each other from that. But you have to dramatize it.
I think a lot of Nikki's stories are bullshit, man. Like that one, I went in to get an application. I put the guitar in the case. Like that never fucking happened.
Yeah.
A lot of embellishment.
Yeah. He's one of the first drummers to be what I would call a main character, which is kind of what we talked about, with his gimmicks of revolving drum sets on roller coasters, as well as basically wearing a G-string and mooning the crowd at the end of every show. During their 80s debauchery, Tommy and Nikki were referred to as the Terror Twins, similar to the Toxic Twins for Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. His antics with drugs and the press are legendary, but let's first visit his musical history. He formed the band, this is after Mötley Crüe, he formed the band Methods of Mayhem, a heavy metal rap group, after leaving Mötley Crüe. The band would go on to produce 2 studio albums, including the single Get Naked, which featured his incredible wife at the time, Pamela Anderson. We'll get to her in a moment. He also played with Nine Inch Nails, Rob Zombie, and Incubus, as well as a lot of electronica bands that I love. Great connection there. And his first solo album in 2002, Never a Dull Moment, is basically an electronica album. You could call it nu metal, maybe a little bit of rap, but I call it electronica. So in 2006, he formed a band called Rockstar Supernova with Jason Newsted, obviously of Metallica, also of Flotsam and Jetsam and Voivod, and Gilby Clarke of Guns N' Roses. This was part of a television show where they searched for a singer for this lineup in like a reality show kind of style. This was won by Lucas Rossi, who, by the way, his only like big name band that he appeared in was Supernova. He's never stopped working. Just a glance at his wiki page shows like hundreds of bands that he's been in, seemingly in tours and singles and all sorts of appearances. So check him out. He is a really great singer. Tommy released his autobiography Tommyland in 2005 with its own soundtrack, much like Nicky did. And he had a reality show called Tommy Lee Goes to College.
I loved it. I watched every episode.
I did too.
Every episode.
Yeah, that was filmed at the University of Nebraska. It turned out that the show was mostly staged and scripted rather than being reality.
Who cares?
Yeah, really. So Tommy's personal manager, Carl Stuber, reportedly forced him to take part in reality TV shows in general, but a particular one, which caused him to be fired from Mötley Crüe in 2007 because he was doing this reality show and couldn't go on tour with them, so they had to cancel their tour. His firing didn't last long because he recorded the next album with them and toured with them the very next year. The show in question is actually called Battleground Earth, and he basically appeared with Ludacris for the Planet Green television channel. And it appears that Tommy's team won the show, and he got to headline the concert with Ludacris opening for him. So
Nice.
yeah. More recently, he's been focusing on being a DJ of electronic dance music. That's EDM. And I know I talk about EBM music a lot. I like EBM, not EDM, but EDM is okay too. He's played with a lot of musicians like Smashing Pumpkins, Richard Marx, Rob Zombie, CeeLo Green, Courtney Love, interesting, and Post Malone, among others. He's said to be one of the last people to speak with Foo Fighters' Taylor Hawkins, talking to him just 2 hours prior to his death.
Wow.
Yeah. But like Nicky, the most interesting thing about him has been his girlfriends and wives. Tommy is said to be in love with the idea of love and is pretty flaky. He was married to his first wife, Elaine Starchuk, for about a year. His second wife, Heather Locklear, he married in 1986. She was probably one of the biggest stars in the U.S. at that time. He met her at a party and thought she was Heather Thomas. Heather obviously was known for her role in Dynasty, T.J. Hooker, Spin City. My personal favorite was her as Amanda Woodward on Melrose Place, among tons of other shows and work that she's done. In recent years, she has struggled with health issues and substance abuse, has been arrested on domestic violence and DUI charges, but has gone through some treatment. It seems to have a lot of good times ahead. Their marriage ended extremely publicly when Heather saw photos in the tabloids of Tommy with other women. It was absolute chaos. After that, Lee was engaged to Bobby Brown. Yes, the Star Search spokesmodel and Cherry Pie Girl. She would eventually go on to marry Janie Lane. While in his relationship with Bobby, Tommy met Pam and wed her 4 days later. Bobby has admitted to terrible meth and cocaine addiction to keep herself thin while going on modeling shoots. She's been sober now for over 2 decades. She wrote a great book called Dirty Rocker Boys, where she chronicles her experience with rock's elite. She was also in Married with Children, as well as appearing in 9 total videos, including 2016's She's Tight by Steel Panther.
I like the fucking title of that song.
Yeah.
Dude, did you guys hear that song? I think it's called Good Times, the one that Tommy Lee did, where he's driving in the car and he goes to the house party. He's wearing the white suit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's such a great song. I mean,
Yeah.
I really love that. And then that other one, you're going too fast. Ain't no way it's ever gonna last. Oh, it's so good. I love that one.
I think Dave doesn't like Tommy's solo stuff very much.
No, not a
I
fan.
love it.
Big fan over here.
Okay, his marriage to Pam is probably the most public and, quite frankly, the most interesting thing about him, and is the one I'm mildly obsessed with. They were wildly in love, and who could think of a more beautiful couple? They would have 2 kids together after she suffered a devastating miscarriage during the filming of her movie Barbed Wire. I don't think I need to introduce Pam. How can you not know who she is? She was introduced by creepy guy Hugh Hefner to the world in October 1989's Playboy. She would go on to appear on more Playboy covers than any other model. She was a mainstay on the hit show Baywatch and has lots of other appearances in movies, but her career was completely blindsided when Tommy and Pam's sex tape was stolen from their home and sold publicly.
Air quotes, stolen.
I believe her. It was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And while Tommy was celebrated for this movie, Pam was nearly blacklisted from any serious roles in Hollywood and relegated to minor roles, and almost as a punishment for her appearance in this video. I'm still mad about this to this day. I think she's forgiven, but I haven't. She suffered a lot because of the sex tape, but also in the relationship, including him exposing her to Hep C, her being assaulted by him while holding their child, and other turmoils. The rest of her life was filled with appearances and work, especially for her favorite charity, PETA, and a focus on heavy living, veganism, and animal rights. Recently, she has appeared in the musical Chicago, which she killed. And if you haven't seen it already, definitely go see The Last Showgirl from 2024. She was out of this world. She racked up a stack of acting awards for this. She also has a Netflix documentary called Pamela, A Love Story, where she discusses the heavy toll that the sex tape took on her life and looks back over her life choices with humor and her usual sweet nature.
I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, it was so good.
I enjoyed it.
And her son's like going through all of her memoirs and her journals and all of that. Oh, it was beautiful.
Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. There's another show she has on Netflix where she's rehabbing her family's property in Ladysmith, British Columbia. It's also fabulous, as is her cookbook, which Dave got me a signed copy of for Christmas last year. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that rehabbing of the house thing was also very interesting.
It was really cool.
Worth a watch. The handyman thing was a little odd, but worth a watch.
I loved where she was going to the store to buy the hair dye like a normal person.
Yeah.
And like no one even looked twice at her. And it was obviously her. It was amazing.
But what's funny is, she's one of these women that didn't do the crazy shit with all the plastic surgery and the fucking, like, she's just kind of still herself, and she's so beautiful. She's just aged so wonderfully.
She's spectacular. Yeah,
she really is.
Still looks great.
She's gone through getting the breast implants removed, getting them put back in, getting them removed. Like she's, had all that
just
suffering.
leave them out.
Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's always working politically to try to make the world a better place, including lobbying for the legalization of marijuana and for safe driving standards for limo chauffeurs and passenger safety. She's a member of the Green Party in Canada. She's been connected to a lot of interesting men, such as Julian Assange, WikiLeaks fame. She claims that he's done everyone a great service, and we all have benefited from his action. She's had a relationship with model Marcus Schickenberg. She married Kid Rock. I can't figure this one out. And after, weird. And after suffering another miscarriage, she divorced him, thankfully. She did try to reconcile with Tommy after her relationship with Kid Rock, to the delight of fans, but it didn't work out. This was amongst a fight at the MTV Music Awards between Kid Rock and Tommy that got Tommy kicked out. She married Rick Solomon twice, I believe. She's also married producer John Peters, and finally Dan Hayhurst, her bodyguard. So back to Tommy. He went to jail for beating Pam, and after their divorce, he also had lots of other legal troubles that seemed to keep him in the news, from his drunk antics to a swastika tattoo, to being sued for a child drowning in his pool during a party for his son's 5th birthday. He was engaged to Sophia Tufa, but never married her. This girl was so damn cool. She's a singer and a DJ and just so beautiful and so classy. I have no idea why they broke up. She was amazing. Today, Tommy is married to Brittany Furlan, a successful social media personality, once declared one of the most influential people on the internet in 2015 by Time magazine. She's very young, 25 years his junior, but seems super fun and a little weird.
I love her.
Yeah, she's often panned by critics because of their age difference and kind of the silly prank videos that she makes, including Tommy. I think she's fun. She was recently catfished by a fake Ronnie Radke, which was eventually exposed when she decided to leave Tommy for this guy. Yeah, she began harassing the real Ronnie, who she was not actually communicating with, while both Tommy and Brittany were accused of harassing him. After her cheating behavior, which she blamed on loneliness and a rough patch in their relationship, they seem to have worked it all out. Ronnie now feels bad for being angry at Tommy because he's a big Crüe fan and understands why it all happened. I don't think that the average person had heard of either Brittany or Ronnie before this incident. The magic of Pam and Tommy simply can't be recreated, no matter how hard Brittany tries to do that. Sometimes I wonder how much of this is staged. The incident seemed really strange and just gave them a bunch of publicity, and now they're fine again. Like I don't get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Dude,
Yeah.
The world is so weird now, man.
Weird.
It's
Yep.
so weird.
Brittany spends a lot of time throwing shade at Pammy, including openly mocking her, especially around the time of her documentary release, where she spoke fondly of her love for Tommy. Brittany claims she isn't worried about Tommy and Pam reconciling. I don't think either one of them want that, and I don't know why Brittany needs to comment on it. In another
Because that's the thing she's most afraid of in the entire world.
She's insecure. She's insecure. That's it.
She once made a really strange comment where she claimed that Pam was not the love of Tommy's life, as Pam has sometimes claimed, but in a weird twist, saying that she herself, not even that she herself was, but she claims that the love of Tommy's life was Heather Locklear, who was the one who got away. She claims to be close with Heather and has yelled at Tommy for cheating on Heather. The whole thing is just bizarre.
Honestly, out of all of his wives, Heather was probably the keeper. You know, the one, like, if I my choice, I would pick her just because she was mentally so, you know, well adjusted on top of being beautiful.
I loved Heather. Pammy's my favorite. I love Pammy too. I love both of those two women. I don't know.
I'd take them both. Move to a country where I could have two wives.
Beautiful. Tommy is very active on social media, although it seems to be driven by his influencer wife, who often appears in videos with him. He also has TommyLee.com, which is currently pushing his custom car wrap business, as well as his merch and music and his latest solo album from 2020, which was called Andro. He has been sober now for 5 years.
Oh, good for him.
As of this recording, 5 minutes probably.
Well, this is all I have for now. I think we went pretty quickly through the guys. I feel like we could do 10 episodes on Mötley Crüe and still not get to all the history and stories. So that's what we're offering for now.
Awesome. Super interesting. Bunch of good stuff there. Mötley fucking Crüe. Like you said, you could just wax poetic all night about the shit that's been written about them. All right, let's do some opening thoughts on the album that we're breaking down this evening. And tonight we are breaking down Too Fast for Love. I will get us started. So, Too Fast for Love, this came out in 1981. Think about that. That is just 2 years removed from the 70s, right? Like, we think of Mötley Crüe as like something that happened like while we were teenagers. Not really. Think about what was available at that time for what would eventually become sleazy LA glam metal, you know? I submit that this under-celebrated album might be the actual godfather of a movement that would usher in bands like LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. Like, I think this is it. I think this is like, we can pinpoint that moment in time to this album. So 2 questions here. First, is this Mötley Crüe's best album? From its iconic cover that was a cheeky play on the Rolling Stones' Sticky Finger to its aggressively raw sound. And its almost complete track listing. And secondly, how did it stand the test of time? We're going to find out. Dave, your memories and thoughts on Too Fast for Love.
Yes, I had been introduced to the Crüe by MTV. Too Young to Fall in Love, Looks That Kill, and the Home Sweet Home videos were attention grabbers. By the time Girls, Girls, Girls and Dr. Feelgood came out, I was a fan. I found my copy of Too Fast for Love where? You guessed
Vintage
it.
vinyl records.
Vintage vinyl records.
It finally came into play and I dropped the ball.
Yes, it was at Vintage Vinyl Records in Ford's, New Jersey. I got a used copy on vinyl. Not the rare Leather Records version, but the regular major label Elektra one. But awesome. It was badass. It had this little mini poster inside of the band with skulls and candelabras and pentagrams. You know, it was like Teenage Metal Rebellion and a neat little package. It was great. Later on, I would get the CD with the bonus tracks.
Nice. Lisa, Too Fast for Love. Where did you get it? When did you get it? Why did you get it?
This is a weird story. I got this album in late 1983, so just as 1984 was going to come in, as a Christmas present from my dad. So I had heard Livewire on WMMR in Philadelphia when my dad was living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I would go down there, you know, for summers and stuff. And I heard it first on that station, and I glued myself to the radio waiting for it to come on again. Because of course, then, you know, that's how you got your music, right? You had to just listen. And he saw me doing this, and he bought me that album and my first acoustic guitar for that Christmas. So,
Lisa, do you remember sitting with your boombox and your cassette tape and waiting for a song to come on that you wanted, then hitting record?
Yep, and the stupid DJ would talk through the intro, and you'd be like, "Shut up!"
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's basically burned into my brain, and it's one of the reasons I know this from front to back, because I didn't own a lot of cassette tapes back then, so I would just play this one over and over again. I would go and eventually buy the Euro singles and the 7-inches, and I've always loved this cover. It was just super cool. I wanted the guy wearing those pants, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I still listen to it occasionally today, though not as much. I've seen Mötley Crüe a bunch, though not as much as like Skid Row and LA Guns. I've met them as a fan, not as anything else, and they were super cool to me. They were funny and loud and rowdy. I've met them several times. Even later, when the band started to fall apart in the early to mid 90s, even then, they were super cool to their fans. I never had a bad experience meeting them, and I know a lot of people have reported that. They've never been mean or grumpy. Mick was maybe a little distant, and I didn't understand back then that he was in pain and he was older. Like I didn't get that.
Get off my lawn!
Yeah, he would just seem to me to be like ultra cool, you know, and that's like how I saw him. He didn't seem old like the guys in ZZ Top to me felt like they were 1,000 years old. Mick didn't feel old to me then.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember Vince when he was young and healthy and strong, and you know, when this band was just ultra cool like back then, and trying not to understand them today, basically.
Yeah, going back and revisiting this album, I hadn't sat down and actually just like listened to it. And again, it always changes things when you do it for a review. But, you know, like with most of the albums we do, I listen to some of the songs on them from time to time, but I don't often sit down and just put a record on and listen to it all the way through. This album, man, I forgot what Mötley Crüe was before Shout at the Devil and beyond. This is a different band. This is not the same band. Once we get to Shout the Devil, it just changes everything. The way they look, the way they sound, the way they play, the way they write, everything. This, for me, is the best Mötley Crüe, and I was just so taken back at this listen as I sat there on my couch with goosebumps going, oh my fucking God, I forgot what this was. But we'll get to it. All right, let's rate the singer. As always, it's 1 through 100, 25 on hair, 25 on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. So for me, Vince Neil was great during the Too Fast for Love era. He had the great hair. He was sporting the red leather outfit long before Steve Sex Summers unwisely added sex to his name. He had the moves, and his voice was what would become the blueprint for the 80s LA glam movement. And he was a genuine badass at the time. You know, we were talking about it before when he like called out Axl. Vince for me was like LA street sleaze. He was just so West Coast and so cool. So for me, this era of Vince Neil gets a 96.1. He was fucking awesome on Too Fast for Love. Dave.
Vince at this time was young, skinny, and full of potential. The opposite of what he is now. He was kind of like the next generation's David Lee Roth, blonde frontman party conductor, big hair, and back then he could hit all the notes. He didn't quite have his look as put together as the next few albums, but he was pretty cool. I'm giving him a 21 on hair, 21.7 on style, 38 on vocal talent. If you were talking about now, Vince's score would be single digits.
No.
But Too Fast for Love, Vince gets an 80.7 from me.
Fucking now? It dips below zero now.
Negatives.
Lisa.
So this was a hard one for me because in my head, you know, he's gone over the hill and down the edge for much longer than he was cool, you know? So let's go back to 1981, 82 or whatever. He was one of my faves back then. The shock of blonde hair against a band of guys with black hair was like a really nice pop for the singer. The crazy costumes.
Kind of became a blueprint
It
for all the
did.
other glam bands.
Faster Pussycat did it, right?
Pretty Boy Floyd did it.
Yeah, well, they were all black hair, weren't they?
No, they had the blonde Vinny
Well,
Jazz.
the bass player was blonde.
Oh,
but,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Pretty Boy Floyd did a lot of copying of Mötley Crüe.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much red leather he wore back then.
It was good though.
All of it.
It was crazy seeing it all. I was like, man, I forgot about these outfits. So much guy liner. They really looked like women. And, you know, there's stories about other bands seeing them and thinking they were chicks. And, yeah.
We saw some hookers down in the bar. Oh, wait, it's just Mötley Crüe.
And that's where like dude looks like a lady Aerosmith came from.
Yep.
Is this era, right?
Yeah.
So he had this screeching voice. What more could you want? He could hold a stage. It didn't matter how big the stage was, how big the arena was. The whole show that they put together was very entertaining, even though we know now they were often drunk off their minds on drugs. It didn't matter. They were putting together an amazing show. He could hit the high notes. I want to say, though, about his voice, I felt as though his normal range was not as strong on this first album as he would eventually get. So he got a little better on Shout at the Devil with his normal range, but his screeching range was, like Des, you said, the blueprint for everybody going forward for this era. So I would say one thing about Vince and his voice, he didn't have the vocal enunciation that, right, I'm going to use Tammy as an example. You can understand every word that Tammy says, right? When you hear Vince, he's hitting the notes, he's on tune, but sometimes the words kind of muddy into each other.
No, every
right?
time.
Yeah. I still can't find a lot wrong with him in 81, 82, 83. I think he was green. I think he was getting to know who he was. The whole band was like trying to find themselves before they hit Shout at the Devil, when they really had their like identity solid.
Yeah.
It was kind of an evolution era for them. And ignoring what's happening to him over the last 15 or so years, I'm giving him a 92.1, with the loss in points being from the couple issues with his voice and his enunciation.
See, it's funny. For me, one of the fun things about Mötley Crüe and Vince in particular was I never was exactly sure like everything he was singing. So I would kind of complete the songs in my head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was always kind of fun for me. And I disagree on this album. What really blew me away was Vince's vocals. And I thought it was an upgrade from Shout. I thought that he never delivered verses like he delivered on this album again, with this sort of style that he sort of ditched going on to Shout at the Devil, where he became more of a metal singer and less of just a singer.
Yeah.
So something about this album just like touched me vocally. It's not. Okay, Lisa, will you please add up scores to tell us where that lands Vince Neil on the Violent Vinyl Screamer leaderboard?
Sure. So we're talking about Vince Neil from the, we'll call it 81 to 83 era for their debut album. He comes in at number 8 with a total score of 89.63. I'm sorry. I can't read this far away.
Number 6.
Number 6, not number 8. I'm wearing my glasses. I don't know what's happening here. Number 6 with a total score of 89.63, putting him just above Phil Lewis. I don't agree with that.
Nope.
And just below Sebastian Bach. That's fine.
Dude, it's like we all fucking shot heroin before the show or something.
Right? What is going on?
This is like some bizarre show today. I'm like, so Lisa,
There's no way he's better than Phil Lewis. Nope, sorry.
At this moment in time,
Yeah.
I mean, Too Fast for Love versus LA Guns' first album.
LA Guns' first album for me.
I don't know. I still say Vince punches Phil Lewis in the face and knocks him out one shot. So there you go, Vince Neil. Let's break down the tracks in this album. Coming in at the number 1 slot, Live Wire.
Free, a little bit better than it used to be, 'cause I'm alive. Live wire, 'cause I'm alive. I'm live wire, 'cause I'm alive. Live wire, 'cause I'm alive. I'm live wire.
So, Dave, this intro guitar riff is so fucking dirty it hurts, right? I'd forgotten how good his sound was on this album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and in my
Les Paul and
opinion,
a Marshall.
Oh, I mean, Les Paul and 10 Marshalls. And in my opinion, this was the best Mick Mars ever looked or ever sounded on any album in any era of Mötley Crüe. It's not even close. In fact, I submit he might be one of the best looking ones in the Live Wire video. The black leather outfit, all tight, the jacket, the pants, the black Les Paul, the white leather stiletto shoes. It's over the top. It's over the top rude. I mean, the little bit of blood was a little strange, but I liked it. I mean, as a 14-year-old watching that video, it was just an extension of Gene Simmons. I'm like, this is the new Gene Simmons. I love this guy. I was a Mick Mars fan right out of the gate for videos like this. He looked great. And then as his career went on and the albums went on, you know, Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, his outfits got worse and worse and worse until he looked like somebody's like Nona. It was just bad. So I really, really wish that he had stuck to this look for his whole career. It would have worked on every single album. He could have just literally just kept that outfit and never changed it. This is my uniform. This is my rock and roll uniform. And I'd have been fine with that. As for the song, it's one of Mötley Crüe's best. We get lines from Vince like, take my fist to break down walls. I fucking love that line. And Tommy is unbelievably good on this whole album. The movement on his drums, the lack of just straight drum beats is shocking. It blew me out of my seat listening to it. This is a 100-watt song, in my opinion. Dave.
Yes, like most of the songs on the album, this one was written by Nicky. In addition to the Leather Records mix, which has a slightly different sound, the band released a remixed version of this on their 1991 Decade of Decadence Greatest Hits album. This was the first and only single released from the major label version of Too Fast for Love. The year before, as we mentioned, they released Stick to Your Guns and Toast to the Town as a single, but neither one of those songs made the Elektra version of the album until the reissues years later. The video features big hair, lots of leather and spikes, and Nicky Sixx setting himself on fire, and as we mentioned, Mick Mars spitting blood. As I'll probably say a million times today, Mick's guitar playing is killer. And
on this album, so killer on this album,
oh, yeah. Dave. And super clean for what he's playing. These riffs are not easy to play correctly. Double bass and cowbell from Tommy Lee with a little disco hi-hat. He was a drummer not afraid to take chances and sound different from other people.
Dude, he was so good on this album. He played to the edge of his ability. There's no weird janky notes and fucked up souls. Oh, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Lisa.
So this video is super cool, right? And I'm thinking back, they would have recorded the video 82, 83. So like MTV wasn't really born yet, right? How did they have
Just
this?
started.
Yeah, just
Like
started.
82.
How did they have this cool of a video when that world wasn't even like born yet? Basically, just amazing. So this is probably one of the most recognizable opening riffs in 80s metal for me. Totally. And I immediately noticed the masterful percussion that's happening behind the scenes.
Percussion.
Masterful. It's loud, it's gritty, it's dirty. I like that even in this early time, the lyrics were a great story and not too much rhyming. In fact, not a lot of rhyming at all on this album. But Nicky wrote the lyrics to fit the cadence of the music, which is really great. Great songwriter for what he lacks as a bass player, really. We have this great pre-chorus, just the vocals, because I'm young, I'm hot, young, running free, a little bit better than it used to be. Oh, like
so
just
good.
so good. Oh my God. Even as a kid, I understood that the bridge in this song was amazing. When they bring the song down to this like slow, sexy rhythm, even for such a young band, they had a great feel for the music. This isn't music theory, folks, here. This is like understanding how a song sounds good to the ear. I've always loved Vince Neil, even back in the day with his high register intact. But when I listen to not just this song, but like this song and the other songs, some of his vocals feel a little canned, not super dynamic. Even when he goes into the bridge, it should be really, really sleazy and sexy. And he's phoning it in a little bit there. Maybe he took too many takes and he kind of lost the oomph, the sleaze. Yeah. So if there's any criticism here is if you watch him perform this live, he does get that sleazy, greasy. I hate that word they use greasy for, but like that he gets that when he plays this live, even though the recording, maybe they just did too many takes and he was like sick of it or something. No guitar solo in this one to speak of anyway, really. And it's fine, I guess. I love the breakdown at the end with the percussion tricks. Who doesn't love to see this song played by a cover band, including Dave's band, Gypsy Freaks, who plays this song at almost every show.
Yep, we do it.
Yep. Perfect stick ending. Fantastic opening for this album.
See, Lisa, what you're talking about with the vocals, right, is I think what I found so enticing about this album vocally. I remembered it being more like Shout at the Devil, where he is using more of his LA glam metal stuff. And on this one, he's almost dipping into classic rock and roll.
Yes.
And that's why I said what I said. This is so different from Mötley Crüe. I didn't remember it being this way. And I like Vince better when he is using less of that fucking 80s bullshit singing voice and more of his like classic rock and roll Vince Neil voice. You only hear it once, and it's on this album. And I submit in this video that Nikki Sixx is really the least developed character in Mötley Crüe. Like his image would grow more than anybody's from this point on. Like he doesn't really have an outfit going yet. His hair isn't quite dialed in yet. He's got like masking tape on him. I mean, it's like he's just not quite there. So I thought that was very interesting that at this moment, Mick Mars almost looked like the most confident, developed character in Mötley Crüe.
I mean, is that an age thing, right? Because Mick had a lot behind him.
Yeah, Mick had been in like 20 bands before this, and he knew what he was doing.
And it's strange because Tommy comments a lot about how ultra cool he thought Nicky was, and that's why he wanted to make a band with him. And yet we see this video, and Nicky clearly isn't there yet.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, coming in at the number 2 spot. Come on and dance. So I had forgotten how much I love this song. As I sat there on the couch listening to it, I literally got chills. I did. I looked down, I had goosebumps. The lyrics and vocals are pure street magic. It's the only way I can describe it. This whole album just feels like being on the Hollywood Strip in 82, 83, when everything was just starting to happen. And, these guys are the rudest, sleaziest thing Hollywood has ever seen. And just, it's coming across in these lyrics and the way Vince is singing them to me. And this ascending, descending guitar solo section, littered with all these big ballsy cowbells, is totally fucking awesome. This one is another 100-watt song for me. I was blown away. Dave.
What a sludgy riff. Girls and cars, some naughty lyrics, killer feel. A big dissonant guitar solo from Mick Mars. This is not polite music. Cool breakdown with the riff, and Vince's scream at the end is pretty wild. Yeah, this is another good one.
Oh, it's so fucking good, dude. There's no fillers on this album. Just fucking spoiler alert. Lisa.
That's right.
I can't believe how you introduced this song, because my first note is that you can't just read the name of the song.
No.
You have to sing it.
Of course you do.
It's immediately in my head. I cannot just read the name. Yeah. I've always been a little overly attached to this one for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, even though it's super short. Nicky's lyrics in general aren't really standard for 80s glam. Just enough cheese, just enough story, just enough sleaze, not too repetitive. All of the songs on this album are different enough from each other that it just works. This is so sleazy. So this is how we say their music is perfect for strip clubs. This is what the strippers dance to, not just this song, but all of their songs. But this is the great first example of that. Sure. Great use of cowbell throughout the song. Tommy loves his cowbell. We know this going forward. Yeah. I have no idea why I love the hook in this so much. It's why you can't just speak the name of the song. We get a guitar solo here, and I'm excited that I have the same comment as Dave. We've got a dissonant solo. Look at me being music theory, yeah. Right? It's a little bit wobbly at first, but I think, the dissonance was an anti-harmony. This was purposeful. And it's nothing like the solos we would hear from Mick in the future. And it's also nothing like the solos we were hearing in any other band at the time. In the play out, we get this great high note from Vince. He screams and just screeches that really shows his range that he had back in the day. I would say that he was at his physical height before the drink took away some of his edge, and we kind of got, I'm pretty harsh on him, sometimes, even in the last song.
Justified.
But he was the great front man of the time. He's hitting the notes, he's doing it, and I'm loving it. We're only 2 songs in, and I'm noticing that the bass is really deeply hidden into the mix. You all this mix seems to be almost all on the high end. There's almost no low end in this mix, and I can't really explain it, but the bass seems to be just washed away. And I don't know if it was because it wasn't that great, or they purposely did that. I don't know, but that's what I'm hearing.
It's so weird, Lisa. That's how I thought I was going to hear it, but I heard it differently. I heard the bass perfectly. Oh. And he was doing things like do 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 do. He's doing things that are good. It's the only way I can explain it. I wasn't expecting to hear these bass runs and these fun sections where him and Tommy are off doing something differently, and his bass is moving along with these really fun drums that Tommy's delivering that are moving untraditionally. These are not traditional drum beats, and Nicky's not playing traditional bass lines. And I thought it was really creative, and it blew me away what I heard on this album, honestly. Dave, did you hear any bass that you were surprised with on this album?
Yeah, the bass lines are good. If you listen to the normal version, it seems like there's a lot of low bass frequencies and maybe high bass frequencies. But if you go listen to the Leather Records version, it takes up a little more of the sonic space. Yep. The guitars seem a little smaller and the bass is a little more prominent.
Yeah.
There is also rumors. It's funny that you mentioned about Mick Mars playing bass in one of his bands. I didn't find any material substantiating the rumor, but there is the rumor that on this album Mick Mars played the bass.
Listen,
Interesting.
you're Columbo. You've just solved the case. No. Seriously, you just solved the case. This is Mick Mars playing bass because this is good bass playing. I'm telling you.
It's possible, but maybe just to speed things along and not take too much time in the studio. It's possible, but there's no material out there to tell you that for sure.
Dave, I would bet Lisa's life on it. Okay.
Thanks.
Coming in at track number 3, Public Enemy number 1. So after I listened to this yesterday, Delyn was in the room and I said, this is a complete album. I said, but if you had to take one song off, what would it be? And she said Public Enemy number 1. You can hear how frustrated I am
Almost
already.
said Public Enema number 1.
Because I was
That's
ready
a
to
different
give her
movie.
an enema. I looked, I said, you out of your fucking mind? You can take Public Enemy number 1 off of Too Fast for Love? I said, I'm
No
not
way.
asking you any more questions today. I'm pissed. So this one opens up with one of Mick's best melodic guitar riffs. I fucking love this riff. Vince, more great vocals. Nikki, more great lyrics on this one. I've said it. This is Vince's best album, in my opinion. I couldn't be any happier with what I am getting here. We get this awesome guitar solo, and I'm starting to think this might be Mick's best album by far. There's no janky notes. There's no scrambled eggs going on. Like in a couple of these solos on Shout at the Devil, I don't even know how they got by the producer. Like, they're like, yeah, sure, it's fine. Leave it on the album. Like,
Mealy.
Yes. There's none of that going on here. He's playing within his means. He's pushing the envelope at moments where it might start to border on wobbly, but he never goes there. It never gets there. And
Confident.
it just sounds, where he does get wobbly, it almost sounds punk. It's just fucking great, man. Yeah, the solo, it's melodic. It fits like the leather pants on Vince Neil. This is another 100-watt song for me. It's Public Enemy number 1, and my wife wanted to take it off the album. I almost threw my breakfast sandwich at her. Dave.
Yeah, that's wild. This song is so important to this album. It's written by Nikki and Lizzie Gray, who is Nikki's former bandmate in LA band London that we mentioned before. We see Lizzie most famously in The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years. Mick provides a great guitar solo theme and some galloping guitar, and we hear some disco bass from Nikki. Vince's vocal is a little off key, but the song's so good, it doesn't matter. This song rules. And I will say, I think it is this song. If you listen to the Leather Records version, it is flat. His vocal is super flat.
Really?
And I think they did some studio magic on the major label version to sort of tune it back closer to being in key.
That's interesting. I'm usually a stickler for that stuff. Dave, you're not focused on the vocals and the lyrics like I am. And I'm usually a stickler for that. And I never picked up on it. You never said it. You never said it.
So according to a fullinbloom.com interview with Lizzie Gray, here's a quote. "I wrote the song, brought it into the band to work it up, and it became the centerpiece of the London live shows. The version that appears on the Too Fast for Love album is not very different from the original, except for the oh yeah chorus parts. To be perfectly honest, I was a bit upset when I first saw the Leather Records album giving me half credit for my own song. I really didn't think much would become of the band or the record, though, so I didn't do anything about it. When I found out that Elektra was re-releasing Too Fast for Love, I immediately contacted the label and threatened a copyright infringement suit on the song. Shortly thereafter, I got a call from Nikki, who told me I could accept things the way that they were, or he could pull the song off the album. I decided that my ego needed to take a back seat to monetary considerations. The rest is history.
Smart.
End quote.
Smart.
So it sounds like Lizzie wrote it and they just co-opted the song. So it sounds like Nikki didn't really have much to do with writing the song, but hey, what can you do?
I have to forget you said that. It'll ruin that song for me now if I go back and try and listen to it.
Oh, the song still rules.
Okay.
Just listen to the Electra version and stay away from the other one.
Okay.
So as we've mentioned before a little bit, other former members of London also went on to big success, including Izzy Stradlin, Fred Coury, Blackie Lawless, and Slash.
Some top tier players there.
Yes. So, Lisa, what do you got?
Well, I love the opening of this song and Mick's guitar intro. We've lost the wobbliness from the last song. He's clean and he's clear. This is sort of a low tempo song, almost romantic, despite having like deep percussion. And then we come into the chorus, and it's much more traditional rock and roll. The lyrics are a classic song of running free with rock and roll in your love. There's this fantastic pre-chorus, and I'm going to screw it up, but I'm going to give it a try. Do you know how it feels to be under the gun, on the run, having fun when you're young? You're so young. You're young. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't hit that note, but like
no one can.
That was it's really masterful. It's another example of Nicky being able to shape a song outside of any kind of standardized arrangement and knowing exactly where he was going in his head, even if he couldn't play it on his bass or anything else. The chorus is a bit 50s style, a precursor to maybe they're covering some Elvis or doing Smoking in the Boys' Room, kind of a pattern they would use going forward. We get a guitar solo that echoes the intro of the song, but then finally we get a second solo section where he shows us a little more of what he can do, like a true 80s solo that shows us why Mick is no longer that 70s blues guy and he's just fine fitting into the 80s, which not a lot of people could do, by the way. I'm also noticing backing vocals on this song, especially the falsetto ones that are really freaking great.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that there was no Nasty Habits in this era, so this probably was the rest of the band.
No, I think that's Vince just singing in a falsetto. To me, that's
what fantastic.
You're talking about the harmony in the chorus.
Yes.
I think that's Vince falsetto.
A second track, yeah.
Yeah, probably Vince laying that over,
okay.
but Tommy and Mick are credited with backup vocals,
Yeah.
but I think they're just doing the
Yeah.
And Tommy is a good singer, so I mean,
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get more cowbell in the playout, and we get Vince sort of kind of riffing on the oh yeahs into the playout. And despite setting up what could have been a fade ending that may have worked, they surprise you with the hey, hey, hey stick ending. Most of their songs are actually stick endings through this era, which I love. But this one was like a surprise. It was extra good.
Lisa, something you said during that really kind of just rang in my mind. You were talking about, rock and roll. And doesn't this just feel a little bit more like a rock and roll album than anything else that they've ever done?
Yeah, rock and roll.
It does have metal sprinkled in. I mean, some of Vince's screams and vocals, but overall, this for me feels closer to like a late 70s, I don't know, like AC/DC type deal than it does to like Theater of Pain or
This
something.
is a transition album.
It is. This is almost a bridge between what would become glam Hollywood hair metal and, classic hard rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting like the glam vocals from Vince and some of the glam solos from Mick, but we're getting a rock and roll song structure and we're getting like rock and roll lyrics from Nicky. So
it's important. This is an important album. I think it's underrated in what this thing really did and its place in music history. I think we've got something here. I do. I think we've done something here. All right. So my poor cat. So I bought this enormous Shea lounge for my room upstairs. Yeah. I mean, it's enormous. Like when I say it's enormous, you have no idea how big this thing is. And I have this.
I saw the picture.
I have this little cat, and he's been asleep. Like you can barely see him on it because he's so small. And when I screamed young, he jumped up, and now he looks all fucked up. I think I scared the shit out of him.
Poor little guy.
Yeah, Mr. Jinx. It's okay. All right, coming in at number 4, Merry Go Round and Round.
Spin goes long now. Merry go round and round.
right. So this opening guitar is brilliantly simple, if that makes sense. It's so good. It's so easy to remember. And, we did do 2 Mötley Crüe albums on the old show. And I kept saying, Mick's strength is really his melodic ways. He writes guitar riffs, solos, and riffs for songs that are just so memorable because they're so melodic. You can remember exactly the way they go. And it's on full display here with this little intro riff. I absolutely love it. Great lyrics. Unfortunately, in this song, I don't know why they did it, but they buried the verses in the mix to the point where the guitar felt like the star of the show, the lead. And I was struggling to hear Vince's lyrics. But that's okay. But the chorus, we got to talk about the chorus. Unbelievably repetitive, right? It's just merry-go-round and round over and over and over. And they're also going to use it in the verse. Does it hurt the song? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. The song is about addiction from what I can make out. And what is addiction? It's doing the same thing over and over and over, going in circles, going in circles. I think this was done deliberately. I think Nikki Sixx easily could have wrote more words to this song, easily could have filled out this chorus with more words. But I think the message is here, this is addiction. It's the same thing over and over and over until you change your ways. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was clever. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit here. Mick delivers this unbelievably dirty guitar solo with the grittiest guitar sound ever. This is so dirty. I love it. I just could not love this classic Mötley Crüe song any more than I do. Dave.
Early photographer Don Adkins from a fullinbloom.com interview said that, quote, basically, Nicky was living in the projects outside Seattle, Washington. He was really struggling, and one day he came out to this playground area right outside of his place, and there was this guy there who had lost it. The guy had just lost his job or something and lived there, and he was just going around and round on the merry-go-round, and Nicky said it just struck him.
Oh.
So that's the story of the song.
Mine's better.
Yes. There's acoustic guitar layered in with Mick's electric. The combination always reminded me of a banjo sound. The formula that we've seen so far on the album continues in this song. Verse 1, hook. Verse 2, hook. Repeat verse 1. But hey, it works. Mick's solo is awesome, and the little ending is really nice where it slows down and gets quiet. I love it.
I love it too. Dude, that story sucked about the merry-go-round. Fuck, and he used the word too many times. Lisa.
So this is, I guess, what you would call their first ballad. And in terms of power ballads, they existed right at this time. But I would say that Mötley Crüe would eventually become kind of a pioneer of making this a critical part of albums coming in the future. Lyrics are a little bit empty and repetitive. He started a great story of a guy that wanted to escape, or maybe did escape, and maybe was possibly lost to drugs. So, Des, I got your feeling from this.
Yeah.
The story doesn't really resolve. Nice melodies in the early part of the song. Strange how the lyrics are woven into the timing of the song. And then we get to the chorus, and I have a little different take than you did, Des. So yeah, it's repeating the title over and over again. But what I heard was Vince delivering each line a little bit differently, a little bit different emphasis, a little bit different cadence, a little bit different melody. And for me, it almost felt like he was telling a story with just that line, like from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Percussion is the hero of this song. But we do get a great solo from Mick, where he ends up totally shredding in the best 80s way. And I like that they gave him a lot of space, and that he had like 2 or 3 different guitar tones in this solo too, which was like super cool. The only part I really don't like is Vince whispering at the end, "I'm coming home, babe," which was a little weird. I have zero memory of that from listening to this album 600,000 times. And maybe I just am not paying attention because I'm done with the song by then, but I had forgotten he did that. I didn't like it. Again, I'm not hearing the bass.
Oh, shit. All right. Coming in at the number 5 spot. Take Me to the Top. So this is where the drumming and bass really pop for me. The drumming on this one is exceptionally good, and we get some really, really good Mick Mars bass here. Like, it's no, seriously. This, if go back and listen, Lisa, after the show, go back, listen to Take Me to the Top and just focus in on the bass. It's fucking great. Mick is playing his ass off. We get a great arrangement. Vince is spitting fire on this track with killer verses. Oh, I love the verses and a killer chorus. And again, Mick is pushing his guitar solo to the very edge of his ability without crossing the line. I'm not sitting there waiting for the pick to fall out of his fingers. It's fucking great. Another 100-watt song for me. I love this song, Dave.
Feel very similar to Livewire. The feel change into the verses is very cool. Super high screams from Vince and classic Mick Mars guitar solo. Solid drums and bass, and the echo ending is fun.
Yeah. Lisa, I know you've got something about the bass on this track.
You're going to be surprised. So, great riff to open the song. It's immediately darker and harder and angrier than the sweeter stuff we've heard so far. I love that guitar effect in the beginning. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I like it. I love the tone of Vince's voice in this song. Oh my God, is that the bass? It's literally the first time I've heard it on the album.
That's awesome.
I love how the chorus comes in and we get the faster tempo, but we get kind of just the title again repeated as the last song, but without the separation. Something I notice about Vince is while I can sing along with this album because I've heard these songs a million billion times each, but again, his pronunciation is not always clear. He's slurring his words together. It's really prominent in this song. Some of it is just mud, even though back in the day I was happily singing along with it. And I can't remember if this cassette had liner notes where you got the lyrics or not, but it didn't matter. I made up my own lyrics. Nobody cared, right?
Yeah.
You get a great guitar solo here, darker, more melodic, with a nice hi-hat hits like behind it from Tommy that aren't distracting because he's a master at what he's doing. And that actually functions as the bridge, which is pretty cool. And at the end, we get the chorus, but we get these gang vocals along with Vince offering kind of a response, like to the top and throw me off, like that extra piece, which I love. I actually like it better than the original chorus and wish that they would have done that again. Another great stick ending. This song is fantastic.
You gotta remember too, man, this is a demo. I mean, sure, Electro Records picked it up and, remastered it and cleaned it up, but I mean, it's a glorified demo, and it sounds great, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, that ends side A. If you're listening to the show on vinyl, flip it over. I'll wait. Go ahead, do it right now. All set? Okay. All right, let's head over to the Should They Have Made It segment, and this week's band is the Trashcan Darlings, and the song is Peggy Sue's Dead.
I read it in the papers, I heard it
All right, so I brought this one to the show for a reason. I absolutely love this song and I love this video. I know it's not from the 80s, but it feels like it's from the 80s, doesn't it? It has great British vocals. It has a great arrangement. It has an infectious chorus. And in my opinion, they definitely could have and should have made it, especially since the guitar player owns Demon Doll Records. I'm scoring this a robust 97.9. I really like this. The only thing I would change is I would move one of the guitar players over to bass and get rid of the bass player. But besides that, it was fucking awesome. Dave.
Okay, I don't know anything about these guys. I was guessing they're from the early 2000s. The song is fine. I see two guitar players in the video, but only hear one in the song. The whoa-oh backup vocals give us some Misfits vibe. I like it okay. I think the song could be tightened up and focused a little bit, but the guys look cool. I did find a second version on YouTube with no video that has a better mix. You can hear two guitar parts there. It's a little nicer to listen to, but singer's a little rough. I did find some info after I watched and listened. They were active from 1995 and split up in 2008. Trashcan Darlings were from Oslo, Norway, and put out several albums. These guys are fine. They would have fit right into our Boston glam rock scene around the same time. We could have played with them, any stage. Seems like a solid band. 69.5 is my score.
69, dude.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Mm-hmm. First of all, what a great band name. And actually a great song name. And they have a ton of great song names if you go into some of their other work. So Chris Damien Dahl, obviously the owner of Demon Doll Records. But I have more fun facts about this band, but let's go into the song first. I really love this song. Like you said, it feels like it was written earlier than it was, right?
87.
Yeah, exactly. 87. That's where I put them exactly. Right alongside the glamour punks. And, they say that they're like a mix of the Ramones, Kiss, Sex Pistols, and New York Dolls. I think they're more even glam than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really love this song, but I think for me, it wasn't like what I expected based on how they looked, to be honest with you. It sounded maybe a little bit like Rancid. I heard some Blink-182 in there. I heard some NoFX in there. And it's got a catchy hook, a dirty guitar solo, which is kind of a rehashing of the chorus, which was very common in these kind of nouveau punk songs. They have a lot of other great songs. You Just Want to Sleep With Me, which is a freaking great song. And there's a throwback like to early's glam punk called, what is the other song? I can't remember now. They have this ballad called I Just Want to Die on a Chemical High. That's the one. Oh my God. It's played on an acoustic. The beginning anyway is on an acoustic guitar, but like they're in full makeup in the video playing that, which is friggin' great. But let's go back to the guys for a second. So we talked a little bit about Chris Damien Dahl. So he's currently in a band called Suicide Bombers. Okay. They are amazing. If you haven't checked them out, oh my God, they're harder. They're a little more sleazy, a little more rock. They have this kind of crazy look that's part glamour punks and part Marilyn Manson and a little industrial and kind of punk and a little, it's just
and a metal guy.
Oh my God.
The guitar player, your classic metal guy. And Damon Dahl's moved over to the vocals. So he's the front man now.
Right. Yep. And there's a song called All for Candy by Suicide Bombers. If you listen to that song, you're going to hear a familiar riff, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'm recommending you do that. There's a guy on drums, Skinny Shotgun, right? That's the drummer of Trashcan Darlings.
So cool.
He passed in 2013, but I was really shocked to his history. So he was in a band called Welkavoren, which is a band that I know. It's basically Norwegian black metal, right?
They were kind of around in like 2002 or something. He was also one of the founders of Nessebold Records. So I don't know if you know who Nessebold Records is,
No.
but it's probably the most important Norwegian black metal label ever. And even though you don't know them by name, I'm going to give you a small history of them. A couple of years ago, their record store burned down, Nessebold Records in Norway. It used to be called Helvet. You may recognize this as the store owned by Mayhem guitarist Euronymous, who this store opened in 1991 and became the central gathering place for all things black metal. So in Mayhem's history, the 1991 suicide of vocalist Per Inge Olsen, who was called Dead, and the 1993 murder of guitarist Øystein Astrath, who was Euronymous, by the bass player Varg Verkens of Burzum. So Burzum was the band that burnt down all the churches in Norway, and he killed the guitarist of this band, Mayhem. And there was a movie about that called Lords of Chaos.
Yeah, that fucked me up, man. I watched that movie. I couldn't sleep for a week.
Yep. So that's the connection, is the Norwegian black metal connection with this band, which I was like shocked about.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's insane. And when that record store, Nessebold, a couple of years ago burned down, in the basement of that record store was basically like a museum with all of the Norwegian black metal relics, including some of the quote unquote evidence from this murder and photos and stuff like that. So that was a huge loss.
Dude, that movie was so dark and so scary. And Macaulay Culkin's little brother did such a great job in that, dude.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Go check that movie out. Even if you don't like that kind of metal, go watch that movie. Holy shit, man.
Yeah. So for Trashcan Darlings, there's a live performance of them. It was their last show in 2008 on YouTube. Looks like a super fun show with a crazy crowd. Now, they are speaking Norwegian language, although all the songs and song lyrics are in English. So I definitely go see that show. It's really great. I think this one deserves an 84, and they definitely should have made it.
All right. Add it up, Lisa.
On the Violent Vinyl, should they have made it chart, Trashcan Darlings, great band name, by the way. Peggy Sue is Dead gets a total score of 83.8, putting them at, this is amazing, at number 5 on the chart, just below the Love Tribe, stuck in the middle, and just above the Ultras Galactic Kid.
Very good company.
And I believe that was a yes, they should have made it across the board for us. Yeah.
Dude, so many of these bands we've done in this segment, I just love them. Like those 3 songs you just named off. You know, Love Tribe, this, and what was the other one?
The Ultras.
And the Ultras, Galactic Kid.
Yeah, Galactic Kid.
I literally, genuinely, with all of my fiber, love all 3 of those songs and all 3 of those bands. So there you go. Some good stuff, man. I think the world missed out on a lot of good music, and I'm glad that we're sharing it here on this show. All right, so that's it. Let's head over to side B of Too Fast for Love. I'm going to flip it right back over here, and let's get it going. Coming in at track number 6, Piece of Your Action. Holy shit. Track 6 in this album has not missed a beat for me yet. This song is one of Mötley Crüe's best, in my opinion. I've said that several times so far tonight, but it's true. This is one of Mötley Crüe's best songs. It's so sleazy. The lyrics are so unbelievably provocative and hot. I mean, this song gets me hot under the collar. This is like... this one lights my fuse. It puts me in the mood for a naughty time night with my wife. The solo section has so much movement going on with the drums and the bass. It blew my mind. And I hope that you both are going to comment on the bass and drum tracks in this song, because if you don't, you weren't listening. And we get another killer solo ending with Vince screaming bloody murder. Again, this is Mötley Crüe at their very, 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 very best. And I love this song, 100 watts.
Yes, this one was written by Nikki and Vince. This is a very underrated song, especially for the Mick Mars slide guitar extravaganza.
Yeah.
For all of you non-guitar nerds out there, slide guitar is when instead of pressing down a note with your finger on the guitar neck, you use a glass or metal tube shaped like a bottleneck. That's why sometimes it's called bottleneck slide, to glide over the strings and make the note that way.
It's my Joe Perry pick. My Joe Perry slide.
Yeah, you can listen to something like Draw the Line by Aerosmith or Traveling Riverside Blues by Led Zeppelin. You know, those are good examples of some slide guitar.
Yes.
Dwayne Allman and Derek Trucks are both highly regarded slide players.
Yep.
Before he was in Mötley Crüe, Mick was in a band called White Horse. He had a big 70s mustache at the time, where I'm guessing is where he developed his slide guitar skills. Many other 80s guitar guys had that fake bluesman thing going on, but Mick probably had the most blues cred out of all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play this song with the tribute band, and it definitely helped improve my slide guitar playing. But it's a great song. I love it.
Yeah, Mick was doing it before it was in vogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, he was ditching it as everybody else was picking it up.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Between him and Joe Perry, I think those were my two real exposures to slide guitar, because
Two wildly different styles of slide
really
playing.
are. Yeah.
Joe Perry's much
but
better.
Mick used it a lot, though. That was
Yeah.
kind of his thing.
For a while, yeah.
In a different way, though. Mick used it in a very aggressive metal way, which was so unusual. And he almost pioneered it, where, you know, Joe Perry was more of a classic, you know, blues style slide player, much tastier slide, in my opinion.
Yeah. So for me, this was a great opening. There hasn't been a bad opening yet, so I keep saying that on every song, but there hasn't been one. We get Vince's screams and screeches in this one, and then the song kind of drops down, and it's so sleazy. When the chorus comes in, it's like hard, but it's dirty, and it's still sleazy. Everything you want a 80s metal to be. Another note on Vince's voice being a little muddy. There's a line before the chorus where he supposedly says, come on, let's go all the way. But like the let's go all the way are just like, you can't hear it at all. The lyrics are pure cheese in the best way. I want you. I need you. I want you to be mine tonight.
Yeah.
You need me. You please me. Use you up, throw you away. Like, it's pure cheese. Just wonderful. No one else had done it yet. So this was like the beginning of it. We get a nice fitting guitar solo here. Sort of follows the melody of the song, but he takes it in a good direction and ends up bringing the riff up to a higher level going into the play out. Tommy, the master of the hi-hat. You get those percussion hits and Vince comes in with a scream. It's also perfectly timed. Great stick ending here with the guitar lick and more screeches from Vince. This one is killer.
Dude, I'm going to look at the analytics. It's going to be like, during Piece of Your Action, the section where Lisa read the lyrics was played 352,000 times. Okay. Coming in at number 7, Starry Eyes. So this one for me is an unbelievably underrated power ballad. These lyrics in the verses are over the top good. I was saying this to my wife. It felt like Nicky Sixx never sat down with the pen like he did on this album again. He always wrote great lyrics. Sure, he definitely did. But something about the lyrics on this album just feels so complete and so thought out. And I don't know if it was that he got the money and he got the cars and he started just like, partying. Because, we were talking about whenever you do your first album, you're going to get a lot more time to write the songs. And once you get that record deal, then it's on to the next record. And now you've got, a timeline. You've got a year. We got this record. You got to write it. You got to record it. We got a tour set up. But before this, he had his whole life to write these songs. And I think it really shows. I think that the lyrics on this album are probably the best he ever laid to tape, in my opinion. And this guitar solo section with Tommy mugging his hi-hat is awesome. And again, I have to mention how surprised I was with Mick Mars' bass playing on this album. It's really, really good. This song is incredible. Dave.
Lisa, did you have something to add in?
Well, you were just saying about how he had his whole life to write this album. Dave and I had a huge conversation about this last night because we saw, like, in this first album, maybe a little bit into Shout at the Devil, where it was very, Nicky was the songwriter. He had a lot of really bad experiences in his childhood, right? It was a tough life. He was writing all these songs. They were his experiences, and, he put them into the album, and they did pretty well with this kind of stuff going forward. And then, like, into Theater of Pain and Girls, it got a little more generic because, you put out an album, there's not a lot to write about. And yeah, we get a little more experienced song going into Dr. Feelgood. Obviously, he had, Kickstart My Heart from his almost dying incident. But it was very clear as these bands get into like the 90s, they've already written about their experiences. There's nothing else to write about. And then the album, and it's not just them, it's kind of everyone. The album kind of goes to hell. Your creative period is when you're experiencing that pain that's like shooting out your heart when you're a teenager, and you get all of your stuff out, and then you're kind of done.
Yeah.
So,
you just never had this much to say again.
Yeah, once you got that mansion and the Playboy model wife, you're done creatively.
Yeah.
So Starry Eyes, killer drum beat with the hand claps and gong leading into the riff. They were not afraid to incorporate stuff like disco into their rock and heavy metal sound. The riff also alludes to the sound they would develop on their next album, Shout at the Devil. All the incorporating of varied influences and taking chances on weird breakdowns and instrumental sections got lost the longer the band went on. Like the longer they went on, they stopped doing all this stuff.
Yep.
The lyrics seem very emotional. The riff is not super complicated, but very heavy. Killer chorus. Interesting breakdown, kind of out of nowhere, but adds a cinematic feel to the song. Super awesome solo. The fade out solo is very full of feel, but I wish Mick had just touched it up just a little more. There's a couple clunkers in there, but LUV this song. This is a great song.
Me and the wife, she was making breakfast. Me and the wife were singing the verse out together, word for word, like tears in my eyes, I guess. Just so good, Lisa.
to me, you called this a power ballad, right?
Sort of.
Yeah, and I'm calling it like a pseudo ballad because the tempo is a little bit too high for a ballad, but it's got the feels.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
And they were kind of the master of this kind of interim song where it's not quite a love song, but it's a serious topic and it's heavy and it like hits you in the heart. And lots of other bands would try to do this, and not a lot of them got it right. This was perfect for me because I didn't want a sticky sweet song when he's singing to a girl. I want a real story. And for me, this is kind of like how Poison's Fallen Angel was, where it was sort of a ballad. You had a sad, topic and, that kind of thing. The lyrics are more variable than any of the other songs on the album. I think here we get a full story and a music tone to let you know that he wants this girl and she's amazing, but she has some kind of like tragic story. Maybe she is alone on the street and doesn't want to be saved or something like that. Another guitar solo bridge on this one that kind of changes the entire song, going into
like a fantastic solo from Mick. He's really letting loose here, staying with the feeling, the deep emotion of the song. There's some longing, there's some emotion in this solo, a bit of darkness and maybe like even like desperation. So he's able to communicate like just with his guitar. Love
to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the gang vocals in the chorus, like the whoa, it's just so great. We get another solo in the play out. Now, Dave, you just said it was a little bit wonky.
Yep.
I didn't catch any of the bad notes.
At the very, very end, like right when it's fading out, and he's all the way at the top of the fretboard, bending those notes, and just
doesn't quite get there.
Just a little bit off.
Yeah.
Give him a break. He was playing bass too.
They deservedly gave him a lot of space on this album. You know, which is really great. And Mick is very old school, right? So he plays the riff or the rhythm, and he doesn't do a lot of like licks during the songs. And what I'm noticing in Mötley Crüe is there's one guitar in this band, and even with the one guitar, you know, he's not doing a ton of tricks. He's keeping this music like really thick, right?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds a lot more than one guitar. It's full. And then when a cover band plays their songs, you can do it with a single guitar. Dave does it all the time.
Yep.
And the songs still feel loud and thick and crushing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, they had to make it happen, you know, playing live. So, I mean, he's not going to usually put a bunch of stuff in there that he can't reproduce. I mean, they went back on that later on, you know, for Dr. Feelgood.
yeah,
Where
they
where
layered a bit
he,
too much.
He layered 20 guitars, and they wound up having to maybe use tapes. And,
Yeah.
Maybe.
just saying. I don't know for sure, but you know, maybe.
All right, coming in at the number 5 spot, Too Fast for Love. So again, I've said it a million times. It's like a broken record. This is one of my favorite Mötley Crüe songs. I think we're starting to discover where all my favorite Mötley Crüe songs lie. It has an amazing arrangement, this song, for sure. It's got a killer guitar riff, just like every song on this album. More killer lyrics. Again, Nicky is writing at the top of his game, and I'm just soaking it up. It's so good. Drums and bass, again, on this song. They are full of movement. You're not hearing this kind of movement on most metal albums. Most, like, listen to Rat, listen to Dawkins. You know, you're going to get the boom, ba, boom, boom, ba, boom. Here it is something complete. I couldn't even tell you what he's doing now. But the ding, but the bomb, but ding, ding, it's everywhere. It's fucking amazing. And Mick Mars, Nikki Sixx, whoever the fuck it is playing bass, playing along perfectly with it. I love the rhythm track on this fucking song. It's the title of the album for a reason. It's a fucking 100-watt song. It's incredible. Dave.
Cool riff. This one was always tricky to play live because they drop a measure in the second verse. I guess to fit the lyrics. But if you don't remember, you will screw it up. A great fun song. We even get an around the table solo with bass, drums, and guitar right at the end. We got any Thin Lizzy fans out there?
Sure.
If you'll notice, Exhibit A, the middle guitar riff from Jailbreak.
So no one knows.
Go
It's fine,
listen.
Dave.
Go listen to that.
No.
And then go listen to this song.
Don't do
That's
it.
where Nikki stole the riff from.
Don't do it. It's fine. It's fine.
But if you gotta steal from the best, great song. I love this song.
Yeah, just don't look over there, Lisa.
I don't know anything about Thin Lizzy, so I
Oh,
didn't
gotta go
notice that
check
at all.
some out. Gotta go check some out.
this raw guitar opening with Tommy kind of sneaking in behind the guitars. It's so great. It's so sleazy. I love the bullet delivery of the chorus with the drums like punctuating the vocals right behind it. Nice key changes in here. We get like a background vocal that sounds a little bit like Pretty Boy Floyd's, really nice and high. Maybe a little bit messier here than the perfection of Pretty Boy Floyd's backup vocals, but pretty good. We have a refrain in this song instead of a pre-chorus, Des. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
I don't think that was on purpose by any means, but that's
of course
what
it was.
The chorus is great. We're just repeating the title of the song again. It's a little punk. It's a little 70s. I like it. We get Vince's when Vince screams that whoa no, like that shouldn't work, but it totally works. We get a little bass run in this one. I don't know if you heard that. A little sloppy, but even when it's the only instrument playing, it still feels buried to me, almost like it was fuzzed out or something. I don't know. This song is fun. It's punk. It's raw. It has some weird changes and weird musical structures, which is that missing measure, right? My only criticism is that the fade ending faded too quick and it needed like a stick ending. So, yeah.
It was a strange fade out.
Yeah, if you listen to the reissue album, there is an actual ending to it that they include with one of the bonus tracks.
So they fixed it.
Well,
they got my notes.
So yeah, there is a real ending. It's just they decided not to go with it on the major label version of the album.
All right, the final track on Too Fast for Love, coming in at number 9. On with the show. So we get the real power ballad here, right, Lisa?
This is the real one.
This is the real power ballad. Okay. And for me, the charm of this song is, again, the movement on Tommy Lee's drums. If we had just got a straight drum beat, this thing would have dragged. I don't even know how to describe what he's doing on the drums here, but it just keeps this song moving. And honestly, it keeps this entire album moving. You take this unbelievably Tommy Lee style drumming, which is the only way I can describe it, off this album, replace it with one of the other guys from the era, and this album is going to start to drag a little bit. I think, again, Nikki Sixx, top of his game, writing lyrics here. It's fucking great. It's a great ending to a great album, in my opinion. So there it is, Dave.
I was surprised to find an article about this album on the website americansongwriter.com. It's bizarrely highbrow and official. Writer Tom Donovan says this: when Frank Farana Jr. legally changed his name to Nikki Sixx, his future became set in stone. There's just no other occupation for a man named Nikki Sixx besides glam rock star. On with the show. It's laying it on a little thick.
Dr. Sixx, Dr. Nikki Sixx, please.
On with the show begins with the lyric, Frankie died just the other night. Some say it was suicide, but we know how the story goes. It's the origin story of Nikki Sixx, and without his reinvention, there's probably no Mötley Crüe. Sixx absorbed the lessons of the New York Dolls, Sex Pistols, Aerosmith, and Kiss, but created something new with what he learned. End quote.
Cool.
The song is another pretty emotional, vulnerable song that we get a couple of on this album and then never again from Mötley Crüe. It's like they lost something when they blew up famous. Yes, the song is definitely similar to Bowie or Mott the Hoople, cranked up in speed. I will take it. Mixed guitar solos are mint, and like a few other spots of this album, harder to play well than you might think. Perfect ending to the album. Love it.
Love it. Lisa.
Mhm. Lovely guitar opening by Mick immediately sets the stage for kind of a goodbye song. There's one thing in the beginning of this song as the vocals come in. There's a misstep, a dropped beat or something, an awkward transition that has bothered me since I was a wee lass. I love Vince's voice on this one. It's a precursor to how he would sound on their major hit power ballads going forward. We get a story about Frankie, quote unquote, who we know as Nicky, and his too fast lifestyle and how tragic his loss was. It's funny because even though we know who the song is about, obviously it's about Nicky, it kind of reminds me a bit of the introduction of Ricky in 18 in Life and all of those story songs about, other guys. I'm sure they were Mötley fans, right? So
yeah.
There's a verse cadence that's really cool. He was stopped on a dime with a switchblade knife. Some damn punk went and took Frankie's life. And she knew, and it like comes in that weird, like, so good.
Did he take Ricky's life, Sebastian?
I know, right?
A lot like fucking 18.
Yeah. Nice emotional guitar solo from Mick here, setting the stage for power ballad solos going forward into the future. Tommy really comes through during this solo. He's doing these little tricks behind the solo and really through the whole song. Yeah. The chorus on this one is a little bit muddy. There's this part where it says the lyrics should be well on with the show, going on with the show. And it sounds like something like that. It's just like, he just like slogs through it. Like it's just a bunch of nonsense words. Great ending for this song. There's a stick ending on a ballad, which is pretty cool. And Tommy ends it. It's just chef's kiss.
It was like Sloth from the Goonies or something.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was really bizarre. I had to go read the lyrics to like figure out exactly what he was supposed to be saying.
They made this album in a week, and they were drunk. What do you want?
Fucking Mick Mars had to play bass. You know the story. Okay, so that's it. That's our discussion of Too Fast for Love. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if we were all in the same room, I would have thought that there was the fucking fumes or something.
Carbon monoxide leak.
Carbon monoxide leak. I don't know. We were all fucking out of our minds today.
I just can't get out of my own way today. Is the problem.
No, I'm gonna have to do an edit right here. 3-2. There it is. Edit number 352. Okay, yeah. The wife's gonna come home today and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Okay. Let's do some favorite tracks. For me, my favorite track on this album is Live Wire because it's fucking awesome. And the track I would cut would be Stick to Your Guns, but fortunately Elektra did it for me. Dave.
All right, my favorite track, Starry Eyes. And the track I would cut, well, I'm not going to cheat. So
go with Toast Me Down.
Yeah, Take Me to the Top if we have to cut one of the main Elektra songs, since we already have a Live Wire and it's kind of a similar feel.
There you go, Lisa.
So favorite track, it was really a tie for me, but I'm going to go with Live Wire with Starry Eyes as a honorable mention.
Sure.
Track I would cut. I'm going to cut Public Enemy #1 because Dylan was right.
No.
When I heard you say that she said it, I took everything I had to keep my mouth shut that was the one I was going to cut. Dylan, you are right. And that is the song to go.
Holy shit. If I could do it, I couldn't be any more stunned if my head was stapled to the carpet right now, okay?
Thanks, Clark.
There you go. If you know, you know.
You surprised? Surprised, Eddie? If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Okay, let's replace some musicians. I'm gonna fire Mick Mars, even though I don't want to fire anybody. This album's perfect, but just for the fun of the show, I'm gonna fire Mick Mars, and I'm gonna put Johnny Thunders in there in a nice black leather outfit with a Les Paul and some white leather stilettos, and I think we move on perfectly. I don't know, Dave.
All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna go off the wall for this one. Look, Vince is perfect for Mötley Crüe. Even when they got John Corabi as a singer, it was great. And John is a great singer, but it just wasn't, capital letters with the umlauts Crüe.
Yeah.
But Vince seems most out of all of them to have squandered the talent and gifts that he had as a younger man and overindulge. I'm being judgy here. I'm sorry, but overindulge in distractions like tequila and double cheese nachos. If he was more serious about his air quotes art, he might not be the butt of so many jokes and might still be a quality frontman. Seeing him now and really anytime in the last 30 years or so, it makes me sad about his wasted potential.
Yeah.
So that's my rant about Vince. But anyway, let's dump Vince Neil and replace him with Adam Ant.
Oh, awesome.
Think about it.
Sure.
Visual, fun, a little naughty. He might have to trade in some of the pirate clothes for leather and spikes to blend into the band, but I think it could work.
You know who Adam Ant really could have fucking replaced? Stephen Piercy. He barely would have even noticed. Lisa, go ahead.
So I wanted to replace Nikki's bass because it was a bit lacking. But if we replace Nikki, we lose
with Billy Sheehan.
No,
Billy Sheehan, don't do it.
Stop it.
Sorry,
it's starting to hurt. It's starting to hurt, Dave. We got to stop.
But if you replace Nikki, you lose the songwriter, right? And you lose his look, which was ultra cool. He was more than just his talent on bass. You know, you can teach a man to play the bass, but if you can't teach a man to be a songwriter.
But you can't tune a fish.
Yeah,
what?
Great. So I, like Dave, am also replacing Vince, and I'm putting in Milhenko Makjevic from Steelheart, Mike from Steelheart.
Sure. Yeah, he pulls this off all day long.
Okay. He could hit the notes.
He could hit the notes cleaner, and you could understand what he was saying, and he took care of his voice, and
Sure. The Billy Sheehan thing is starting to become like the shower game at my house. Like, so me and my wife for like, I don't know, 3 months, if someone was in the shower, you would fill up like a glass with ice water and ice cubes in it and dump it over their head. It was like, ah. And then it went to like, you know, like a cooking pot over the head. Ah. And we did this for a while, and I was just getting the best of her nonstop. So one morning she's in there and I fill up like this spaghetti pan, this big pot full of water and ice cubes out of the freezer. And I just dump it over her head and I just hear, she's in there crying. I'm like, all right, that's it. The game's over. We're not doing it anymore. So we've now like mellowed it out to where if someone's in the shower, you try and sneak in the bathroom and you slide your hand into the shower without them noticing, and you slowly turn the knob over to ice cold. And if you can pull that off, it is like magical. Like we each get it like maybe once out of like 15 tries. But when you get your hand in and you move it all around, nobody says anything. And like, so what I've done is I've been able to determine when she's washing her hair, because I can hear the suds in the water hitting the floor heavy when she runs her hands through her hair. And I'll know that she's got soap in her face. She's got shampoo on her face. And that's when I go, make my move.
That sounds a little creepy.
It is so creepy. Like fucking Des Bates. Okay. I couldn't come up with the word carbon monoxide. Maybe I've got a carbon monoxide in my house.
Do you have a detector?
Where does carbon monoxide come from?
Like bad leaks and gas in the
Well, you don't have any gas.
Usually.
There's no gas in my condo. This thing was built in.
Then you're fine.
Oh, no, then there's something. But maybe I got a brain tumor. Okay. Let's do some final thoughts and score this thing. So this album, in my opinion, is Mötley Crüe's best. Beating out Shout at the Devil by a razor's edge. It's so dirty, gritty, and full of amazing lyrics and vocals. Mick is at the top of his game, and Tommy and Nicky, or Tommy and Mick, however you want to stack it up, never played this well on a studio album together again, leading me to believe this is probably Mick Mars playing bass. So for me, this is a perfectly complete album, getting the elusive score of 100 watts. It's very important. There it is. Boom. Dave.
Yeah, I like your theory of it being sort of ground zero of a lot of what came after it. This album is a great mix of 70s glam pop and punk and early 80s metal. It is commonly regarded as one of, if not their best album. The raw edge was real and not some corporate marketing scheme. These were degenerates off the streets with a guitar and a cheap vodka buzz. This is before the money rolled in, before they got jaded, before they became rock stars with mansions and expensive cars. This is the real Mötley Crüe. I understand this was 44 years ago and people change, but what they call Mötley Crüe today is the palest imitation of what is on this album. I miss this band. I would definitely re-listen anytime, and 95.5 is my score.
Nice. Yes. I actually wrote in my notes, this is going back into my weekly circulation. Like when I'm feeling the mood, I'm putting this bitch on beginning to end.
Yep.
It's almost like they're a cover band of themselves now.
Yes.
Do you feel it that way?
A bad cover band.
A bad cover band.
Vegas version.
Yeah. That brings tears to my eye. You know what else brings tears to my eye? Dave, explain to Des what brought tears to my eyes last night.
What was that? Can you remind me?
Where did we go last night?
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God. There is carbon monoxide in here.
I thought we talked about it during the show already, but then I realized we talked about it before we started rolling.
Yeah.
So last night we went to a 40th anniversary screening in a community theater of the movie Stand By Me. And it had the several of the movie's stars, including Will Wheaton and Jerry O'Connell and the infamous Corey Feldman. Live on stage in the same room, trapped with us.
Yep. He was 6 rows away from me. I could almost touch him. It was incredible.
But we didn't.
And I didn't. I swear. I was crying. I am a huge Corey Feldman fan. I don't care what anyone says. He's always going to be one of my favorites, whether it was Goonies or Lost Boys or Stand By Me or anything else that he did.
Burbs.
I freaking love him. They were all hilarious, by the way. Jerry O'Connell was just the funniest guy. He wore the shirt from the movie.
Yes.
The striped shirt. He brought the blue combs. He brought the cherry pez. It was amazing.
Yeah, the guys were funny, and it had been a long time since I'd seen the movie, and it was really good.
What a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Every scene in that movie was meaningful and needed to be there. And you know, River Phoenix, oh my God. They left an empty chair on the stage for River, which was, of course, why I was bawling.
Yeah, they said some really nice things and made a nice tribute to River Phoenix.
Yeah.
Dude, with all the confidence in the world, Lisa says, Dave, tell us what made me cry last night.
I know. And he's just like, what?
Dave goes, you cried last night?
I'm sorry. I totally forgot we didn't talk about it.
That's a fucking magical moment right there.
I got to double up on my coffee.
Holy shit.
Okay,
man.
so the album. I have mixed feelings today about Mötley Crüe based on Nicky's bad behavior, based on Vince's situation and his kind of destruction of his instrument, as well as the multiple last tour ever retirement tours that, you know, people have spent a ton of money on because they think it's the last time they're ever going to see the band. And then they come back. Yeah.
Lame.
But these early albums will always have a place in my heart. I loved this so much. And the songs held up just fine. Dave's band plays Livewire at nearly every show, and I would never take my bathroom break then. They were pioneers of 80s glam and are cited as influences for countless bands. I wanted to be around them for sure, and I was. It didn't all fall apart for me until Dr. Feelgood or so. Even that album has some great songs on it. I walked away from them when Tommy and Vince were gone, and I've never really returned. I've only seen them once since their supposed reunion, and I wasn't thrilled with it. Watching Vince has been really hard. I was thinking the other night, as these bands truly retire, like as the musicians, we've seen the loss of a lot of musicians lately, deaths, and Ozzy, and we lost Ace, of course, but as these bands actually retire, when they actually say, like Dave Coverdale did, I'm not playing anymore, what happens then? Like, this was the last era of great music. Like, in my mind, they're going to like live on in some bizarre eternity where they exist as cover bands with like their official names and no original members of the band. Yeah. Kind of like we're regurgitating movies from the 80s as remakes.
Red Hot Reunion Tour.
Yeah.
Riot.
Right? Very strange. I don't know what's going to happen then, but total score for this
hologram
album,
kiss.
Yeah, it's something like hologram. So it's going to be weird. Total score for this album, 94.8.
Nice. All right, let's add it up and tell us where it lands.
Wow, I was the lowest one. How did that happen?
I don't know.
You were lower than Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 95.5.
Oh. You cried?
Well, I cried for Corey.
And I think... we'd all re-listen to that one.
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Yeah. You don't even have to ask that. Of course, we're going to re-listen.
Yeah, duh.
Okay.
Duh,
all right.
Becky.
So on the Violent Vinyl album chart, Mötley Crüe's debut album, Too Fast for Love, from 1981, although officially released in 1982 for most people, got a total score of 96.77, putting them at number 4 on the chart, just below Skid Row's Skid Row, and just above Faster Pussycat's Faster Pussycat.
Oh, that's rare air. They're all great albums.
They are.
They're all great albums. All right, so there you go, folks. Lisa, since you have the next pick, please tell us what our homework will be for the next 2 weeks.
All right, I'm doing it. We're going to do Warrant's Cherry Pie.
Ouch.
Oh, boy.
Yikes.
I love that album. I don't care what you think. I love Janie Lane. He's a great singer.
Cherry Pie guy.
It's got some highs and it's got some lows. Okay. This is not a complete album. It's not a complete album, but it'll be fun because, it's not always fun when we come in here and have oh, that was amazing. Oh, it was great. Like, it's fun to get a little of that sucked in there. And for the Should They Have Made It segment, Lisa, who are we looking at?
Okay, we're going to listen to a band called Lethal Lipstick with great name, right?
That's Mike Trash.
Yes, it is.
From the Erotics.
You are correct. And the song we're going to listen to is Shot Down Without Love. Fantastic song. But I just want to point out, a lot of times we don't always pick our favorite songs for these bands. We pick the one that's most accessible. But they have a song called New York Doll. They have a song called Dancing with Dynamite. They have a song called Sweet Little Nasty, all of which are freaking fantastic. So definitely recommend checking out a lot from them. But we're going to do Shot Down Without Love.
Nice. Mike Trash, awesome dude, super sleazy guitar player, plays the SG. He's got a really interesting colored SG. I don't think I've ever seen one that color. I love it.
Yeah. Silver Sparkle. I think it's custom.
Sparkle custom SG. Yeah, he's a cool shit and played in the Erotics. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Still does.
Still plays in the Erotics.
They're still going.
Yeah. Awesome. Another great band. Good stuff. So good pick, Lisa. Can't wait to look into Lethal Lipstick. I don't think I'm familiar. I know the name, but I'm not familiar with this song. And I
great freaking name.
Yeah, and I didn't know that Mike Trash actually was in Lethal Lipstick. So I'm looking forward to go back and checking this out. On our sister podcast, hey, did you ever see that movie? We just did Footloose, and you got to go listen to it. It's a fucking great episode. Just go over to YouTube. My wife put up a short in the hey, did you ever see that movie YouTube channel? You go over to the shorts. There's a little short for the Footloose episode, Boys Locker Room. You hear me lose my mind. It's funny.
We saw it.
At least listen to that. At least listen to that little blurb, and that'll give you an idea what the podcast is about. And if it tickles your fancy, take a listen. And I also think that for the listeners of this show, Violent Vinyl Radio, the next movie, which we're doing next week for Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie, is going to be The Stoned Age. If you have not seen this movie and you are a metalhead, if you like hair metal, if you grew up in the 80s, if you like any of this shit, which I know you do because you're listening to this show, you got to go rent the movie. You can get it for like $3 on Amazon. and watch it. You can fucking thank me later. This movie is fucking killer, and I cannot wait to review it. So there you go. There's a little extra homework assignment for you. Watch The Stoned Age and then jump ship over to Hey, did you ever see that movie, and check that out next week. It'll give you something to listen to while we are putting together the next show. And you should be doing that anyway. Okay. So until next time, make sure you got batteries in your carbon monoxide detector. Take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.